Hi there. If you found this video tonight, maybe you've tried everything else, counting sheep, shifting pillows, watching the hours slip by on your phone screen, feeling that restless ache in your chest when sleep stays just out of reach. I know how heavy that feels. I've been there too. But right now, you're here, and this is your quiet corner. This is boring history for sleep. A soft space where my voice will stay gentle, where each word is meant to lull your mind into a hush so deep that sleep has no choice but to find you. So do this for yourself. Find the most comfortable position you can. Let your shoulders drop and keep the volume just low enough that you don't have to strain. Close your eyes whenever you feel ready. Breathe slow, slower still. Let your thoughts drift the way an echo drifts in old caves where time forgot to hurry. Tonight, I'll take you there, down into passages of stone and hush, where every drop of water holds a memory and the world above fades until all that's left is the sound of your own gentle breath. Sleep is closer than you think, and you don't have to find it alone anymore. Now let's begin. The caves where time forgot. Follow me now. Step softly where the earth opens her quiet mouth and swallows every sound you brought in from the world above. Here, at the mouth of the cave, the air tastes cooler, carrying the hush of places where time folded its hands and sat down to rest for a while. Outside, the trees stand patient, roots tangled deep around stone that hold secrets older than any book could carry. But once you slip inside, the forest fades behind you, and your footsteps press into ground that remembers more than it ever says. The passage narrows first, walls damp with beads of water that cling to rough rock before slipping down into tiny pools at your feet. Your breath echoes here, soft and steady, a quiet reminder that you are not lost, but drifting into a place where hurry has no name. Above you, stalactites hang like frozen candles, their tips sharp and glistening in the faint glow of your lantern. Below, the floor ripples in stone waves, each ridge pressed smooth by centuries of water, humming secrets the hush keeps safe. If you listen, you might hear the slow drip of water finding its way through cracks overhead. Each drop lands like a heartbeat that never needs to rush, a tick so slow it makes the clock tower you left behind feel restless in its stillness. You pause at a bend where the tunnel widens, the ceiling opening into a chamber that swallows your small light in gentle shadows. Bats cling to the dark above, their wings folded tight, dreaming of insects that never flit too close. They do not mind you here. They know the hush well. They were born into it. At the edge of the chamber, an old carving waits on the stone wall, lines scratched by hands you'll never meet, shapes half-faded but holding the story of someone who once stood where you stand now, breath caught in the same hush. Some say the caves were once places of shelter, where wanderers built small fires to keep the chill away, where stories drifted through the dripping corridors and settled into the rock. Others believe the caves were never meant for people at all, only for the hush to keep safe from the noise above. You run your palm along the wall, feeling the rough grooves under your skin, the cool press of stone that does not care how many years have passed. Your heartbeat slows, matching the drip of water somewhere deeper inside. Outside, the moon rises over the forest, pale light pressing against the cave's mouth but never reaching you here. Here, you belong to the hush, the stone, the drip that never hurries. This is your passage tonight, the first quiet step in this hidden, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the walls hold your echo. Let the hush curl into your ribs. And let the caves where time forgot remind you. Sometimes the deepest rest is found, where time never needed to move at all. Stay a while longer in this quiet chamber, where the hush settles heavier than the night outside. Let your eyes drift across the rough stone walls, catching faint shapes where ancient hands press stories into rock that never needed paper to remember. You take a slow step deeper, boots brushing over a floor smoothed by centuries of dripping water. Here and there, small pools glisten in the lantern's dim glow, glassy mirrors that ripple when a drop falls, each ring spreading out like a whisper you can almost hear if you lean close enough. Above, the stalactites drip at their own patient rhythm. They have always known how to measure time more gently than any clock face or ticking gear. No chime here, just the slow tick of a single drop landing in the hush. Near the far wall, you find a narrow tunnel branching off from the chamber. The air inside tastes cooler, touched by minerals that have seeped through stone for centuries. layering the walls in ripples that look like frozen waves caught in mid-motion. You follow the tunnel slowly, one hand trailing along the damp rock. Your fingertips catch on tiny ridges and grooves, the soft hum of water moving somewhere deeper beneath your feet. A bat drifts past your shoulder, wings brushing the air with a sound so soft you wonder if you imagined it. It disappears into a crack in the ceiling, where the hush curls tight and waits for footsteps that never come. Deeper still, the tunnel bends into a pocket where the ceiling dips low. You crouch to slip through, your breath loud for a moment before the hush swallows it again. Inside this pocket, an old fire ring sits at the center, a circle of blackened stones, ashes long gone, only a faint memory of warmth left behind. Someone once rested here, pressed close to the hush, while flames flickered shadows across the walls. Stories were whispered, maybe in words you'd understand if the rock still remembered how to speak them. You settle on a flat stone near the ring, lantern balanced on your knee. Your fingers trace small char marks where sticks once caught fire. Each mark feels like a heartbeat pressed into the hush, a reminder that even in darkness, someone once found light here. Outside the pocket, the drip goes on, the hush holds steady. The cave breathes with you now, stone and shadow folding around your shoulders like a blanket you did not know you needed. And you, here tonight, feel that hush slip behind your eyes, pressing your thoughts soft and slow, like water shaping rock over 1,000 quiet years. This is your pocket tonight, another hidden bend in this deep, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the drip echo through your ribs, let the fire ring stay cold and gentle, and let the caves where time forgot remind you. Sometimes rest finds you best where the world never needed a clock at all. Stay seated near the old fire ring for a while. Feel the cool press of the stone under your hands, the hush folding around you like a blanket stitched together from drops of water and layers of rock older than any story you brought in from the world above. The lantern's soft glow flickers against the rough ceiling, catching faint lines where minerals have drifted down for centuries, painting the walls with streaks that ripple like tree rings, marking time that never needed to be counted. You watch a single drop fall from a stalactite overhead. It lands with a tiny echo that drifts through the pocket, bounces gently along the floor, then disappears into the hush that waits at the edges of your breath. Some say these caves were once places of shelter for travelers who lost their way in the forest above, wanderers who stumbled on the narrow entrance when the wind turned cold, who built small fires to push back the dark, their voices curling through the tunnels until they faded into the stone. Others believe the caves were never meant to be found at all, that they were carved by water alone, shaped in secret, hidden beneath mossy hills so the hush could keep its stories safe from the noise outside. You stand now, lantern in hand, the hush settling deeper into your shoulders as you move past the fire ring. The tunnel narrows again, walls pressing close enough that your sleeve brushes damp rock with every careful step. Your light catches carvings along one side, shapes etched so shallow they almost disappear when you squint. Hands, waves, a single spiral that turns in on itself, a soft reminder that not every path needs to lead out again. Beyond the carvings, the tunnel opens into another chamber, larger than the last, its ceiling lost in darkness above your small flame. Here, the drip grows louder, droplets landing in an underground pool that gleams like a black mirror. You kneel at the water's edge, peering down through your own reflection into depths that hold no answers, only the hush that hums just under the surface. You watch ripples drift across the pool, breaking your face into soft shapes that don't look back, only drift away one circle at a time. Somewhere high above, the forest stands silent. Moonlight presses against the mouth of the cave, but does not follow you here. The hush holds the drip close, folds the echoes into stone, cradles your breath like an old story that never needs to be told again. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts drift like ripples on the pool, slower, softer, carried into corners where time curls up and forgets to keep turning. This is your chamber tonight, another quiet room in this deep, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the carvings keep their secrets, let the pool hold your reflection, and let the caves where time forgot remind you. Sometimes the places that hold you best are the ones that never wanted to be found at all. Stay by the pool a little longer. Watch how each droplet lands on the dark surface, how the ripple drifts out in patient circles that never hurry to reach the stone edge. Here, even your breath feels slower, folded into the hush that hums through the water, up the walls, and into the ceiling, too high for your lantern's soft light to touch. You kneel, fingertips brushing the cold edge of the pool. The rock is smooth here, polished by years of tiny waves licking at its sides, shaping the stone as gently as a whisper shapes the dark. Somewhere deeper under the water, a narrow passage twists away, a tunnel only the drip knows well, where small rivers drift through chambers no one will ever see. Some say those hidden halls hold pockets of air so still that even the hush pauses when it finds them. You stand and lift your lantern. Its glow dances across the cavern walls, catching veins of quartz that shimmer like tiny stars trapped in stone. When you step away from the pool, your reflection breaks into pieces that follow you for a moment, then smooth themselves back into the hush that lives in the dark. The path narrows again, stone pressing close on both sides. You can hear your breath here, each exhale slipping ahead of you like a scout, testing the hush before you step through. A faint breeze drifts from somewhere ahead, not cold, not warm, just enough to brush your hair from your forehead, to remind you that the caves breathe too, in ways that have nothing to do with the wind above. You pause where the tunnel splits in two. One path winds down into a slope so steep you cannot see where it ends. The other bends gently left, where faint scratches mark the wall, lines that look like the wings of a bird pressed into soft clay before the stone grew hard again. You choose the left. Your footsteps fall in rhythm with the hush now, boots brushing through damp sand scattered like breadcrumbs for someone who never turned back. The new chamber feels warmer, air thick with the scent of minerals and the soft memory of smoke that once drifted through these passages when someone built a fire and let it burn until the hush snuffed it out. You find a small ledge carved into the wall, just wide enough to sit. Above it, shapes painted in ochre cling to the rock. Circles within circles, a spiral that turns out instead of in, dots scattered like seeds blown across stone. No one knows who left them, but the hush keeps every mark safe, never letting the damp air wash them away completely, as if to promise that some stories survive not by being told, but simply by staying here, folded into the drip and the stone. And you, here tonight, feel that hush slip under your ribs, a steady, patient quiet that does not need answers, only your slow breath pressed close to its ancient walls. This is your ledge tonight, another soft hollow in this deep, forgotten, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the paintings stay where they are, let the tunnel hold its secrets, and let the caves where time forgot remind you, sometimes the deepest rest is found in places no footsteps hurry through. Stay seated on the ledge for a while. Let your shoulders rest against the cool stone wall, the hush pressing into your back, folding each slow breath deeper into the cave's patient silence. The ochre circles above your head seem to shift in the lantern's gentle glow, lines painted by hands that knew how to speak without words, how to press memory into stone so the hush would carry it forward long after voices were gone. A drop falls somewhere beyond the bend, its echo drifting through the tunnel like a question that does not need an answer. You listen, head tilted, heartbeat matching the slow drip, drip, drip that measures time here more kindly than any clock ever could. When you stand again, the hush comes with you. Your footsteps carry it deeper as you move through the winding passage, the stone so close your sleeve brushes the wall, picking up the damp chill that lingers where the sun has never touched. The tunnel bends once more, opening into a cavern so wide your lantern's light cannot reach its farthest edge. Here, the hush feels like a blanket, soft and heavy, pressing every sound flat before it can rise. At the center, a great column of stone grows from floor to ceiling, a pillar built drop by drop, year by year, a spine that holds the weight of all the earth above without ever asking for thanks. You step closer, fingertips brushing its rough surface. Tiny beads of water cling to the ridges, slipping down in threads that sparkle like faint silver under your lantern's flame. Somewhere above, the drip continues, the hush carrying each drop from ceiling to floor, layering the stone the way dreams gather behind your eyes when sleep drifts in slow. You find a small hollow at the pillar's base, wide enough to sit. Your boots press into soft sand collected in the curve, grains cold against your palms when you lean back and let the hush do what it does best. Hold you here, without hurry, without demand. Some say these caves were once places of ceremony, not of loud chants or bright fires, but of quiet promises whispered into the rock, offerings left where the water would find them and carry them deeper than any footsteps ever could. You imagine a single flame flickering here long ago, shadows dancing across the pillar, voices low and careful, each word folding into the hush before it could echo too far. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts drift the same way, slow, soft, sinking into the hush that hums through the stone, beneath your ribs, behind your eyes, that grow heavier with every breath. This is your hollow tonight, another secret pocket in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the pillar hold its shape, let the drip go on, patient as ever, and let the caves where time forgot remind you, sometimes the deepest dreams bloom best where the world forgets to move at all. Stay curled in the hollow at the base of the stone pillar for a while. Feel how the hush settles heavier the longer you sit here, like soft sand filling every gap between your thoughts, weighing them down just enough to keep them still. The drip continues overhead, each drop landing somewhere you cannot see, its tiny echo folding into the hush so smoothly that you wonder if it was ever there at all. Your breath matches that rhythm now, a slow, steady tide that drifts in and out, the hush pressing against your ribs like water against stone. The lantern's glow flickers, its flame dancing shadows across the rough curves of the pillar. Each ridge and groove catches the light for just a moment before the dark swallows it back. A quiet game that has played out here for longer than any voice has echoed through these tunnels. You run your palm along the sand at your side, feeling how cold grains slip between your fingers. Tiny reminders that time here is measured not in hours but in drifts and layers. Small patient moments that gather so slowly you could sleep through all of them and never miss a thing. Beyond the pillar, the cavern stretches wide. If you stand, you can see faint shapes on the far wall, more markings, rough lines where someone once drew the curve of a river, the bend of an animal's horn, the circle of the sun caught in a place where its warmth never reached. You walk there now, footsteps muffled by the soft sand under your boots. Each step carries the hush with it, a promise that no sound will grow too loud to wake the drip or the dreams tucked deep into the stone. At the wall, your lantern picks out a single handprint pressed into the rock, fingers splayed wide, palms smudged by time, but still holding its shape. Some say these prints were left by wanderers, marking their path, a way to promise they had been here, even if the hush carried their voices away. You place your hand over the mark. Your fingers fit just inside its edges, warm skin pressing into cold stone. You wonder what that moment felt like for the one who stood here first. Did they hear the same drip? Feel the same hush gather around their shoulders? Imagine that the caves would remember them long after they were gone. When you step back, your breath leaves a small cloud in the air, drifting away before the hush can press it into the wall. And you here tonight feel that hush settle deeper, into your bones, behind your eyes, in the quiet corners of your mind that forget how to race when the world above grows too loud. This is your cavern tonight, another wide, hidden room in this patient, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the handprint stay where it is. Let the pillar stand steady behind you, and let the caves where time forgot remind you. Sometimes the echoes that last longest are the ones that never needed words at all. Stay near the wall with the handprint for a little while longer. Let your fingertips hover just above the stone, feeling the hush press gently between your skin and the cold rock, a reminder that some marks last far beyond the hands that made them. The drip echoes faintly behind you, each drop landing somewhere in the wide darkness of the cavern, small, patient ticks that keep time without ever pushing you forward. When you turn away, the shadows stretch ahead like a soft path. Your lantern's glow flickers over small ridges in the floor, tiny hills of sand and mineral dust gathered where water has carried them, drop by drop, for more years than any story can hold. You follow that path now, footsteps sinking slightly into the soft earth. The hush grows deeper here, pressing into your ears, your chest, the quiet spaces behind your eyes that no longer need to hold so many restless thoughts. Near the far edge of the cavern, you find another passage, low and narrow, a tunnel you must duck to pass through. The stone here is smoother, worn by water that once rushed faster before the drip taught it how to wait. You pause to listen. The hush hums through the tight walls, a soft current that feels like a heartbeat slowed to match your own. Somewhere ahead, a faint trickle joins the drip, the promise of an underground stream that never hurries to meet the light. You crawl through the narrow passage, shoulders brushing rock cool and damp. Each breath drifts out in small clouds that fade almost as soon as you see them. When the tunnel opens again, you find yourself in a hidden chamber, smaller, closer, the ceiling low enough that you could touch it if you reached up. Here, the hush feels warm, thick with the scent of wet stone and old earth that never quite dries. In the center, a shallow pool glows under your lantern's reflection. Its surface is smooth as glass, a dark mirror that holds no shape except the faint shimmer of your light. You kneel at the edge, palms pressed to the damp floor. When you lean over the pool, your face blurs into soft ripples. The drip lands here too, each drop sending tiny waves across the image, reminding you that nothing here stays sharp for long. Some say these hidden pools are wishes, that the hush catches your quietest hopes in the ripples and folds them away into stone, safe from the noise above. You dip your fingertips into the water. It is colder than you expect, but gentle, a touch that feels like the hush itself, asking nothing from you except to breathe a little slower. Outside, the forest waits far above, roots tangled deep into stone that hums with the drip, the hush, the echoes of steps that once found these chambers and fell silent just like yours. And you here tonight feel your thoughts drift soft and far, settling into the pool the way each drop does. Slow, steady, leaving behind only circles that grow wide before they disappear. This is your hidden chamber tonight, another quiet fold in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the ripples carry your worries away. Let the hush press close around your shoulders. And let the caves where time forgot remind you. Sometimes the calmest places are the ones the world never thought to find. Stay by the pool a little longer. Watch how each ripple drifts across the glassy surface, how it fades into the hush so gently you almost forget it was ever there at all. You dip your fingertips again, feeling the cold slip between your skin and the hush, carrying away whatever small thoughts still cling to the edges of your mind. Somewhere deep under the pool, the water drifts through narrow veins of stone, curling around old chambers no one will ever reach, carrying the hush deeper, folding every echo into places so silent that even the drip sounds like a dream. You sit back on your heels, lantern balanced beside you, its light bending against the low ceiling where minerals catch the glow and give it back in soft, uneven reflections. Tiny beads of moisture gather on the stone overhead, each one trembling before it lets go, falling into the pool with a sound so small it feels like the hush sighing in its sleep. Near the wall, a row of small handprints marks the damp rock. Some are faint, almost lost in the shifting shadows. Others press clear and wide, fingers spread as if reaching for something they knew they could not hold. You crawl closer, palm hovering over the prints. You feel the hush hum between your hand and the stone, as if the cave is reminding you that time here is not measured in years but in touches. The soft press of skin against rock, breath against hush, heartbeat against drip. A breeze slips through the chamber, carrying the scent of earth and water so old it smells like a story you've known all your life, but never needed to tell. It curls around your shoulders, lifts the small hairs at the back of your neck, then fades into the hush again, leaving you wrapped in the warmth that lingers when stone and water hold you still. You lie down beside the pool now, cheek pressed to your arm, breath brushing the damp floor. The drip becomes your clock, a soft, patient tick that does not ask you to listen, only to rest, to drift, to let your thoughts dissolve into circles that break and fade before you can catch them. Some say that if you fall asleep here, the hush will carry your dreams into the deepest tunnels, folding them into the stone so they hum for centuries, waiting for another wanderer who might listen close enough to feel them drift back out. And you here tonight feel that hush settle heavy and sweet behind your eyes, each blink slower than the last, your breath matching the drip, your heartbeat finding its place somewhere between the pool's dark mirror and the walls that will never hurry you away. This is your hidden pool tonight, another quiet pocket in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the handprints rest, let the drip count your thoughts for you, and let the caves where time forgot remind you. Sometimes the best dreams bloom in places that never needed the sun at all. Stay curled beside the pool just a little longer. Feel how the hush holds you now, soft and steady, pressing every restless thought deeper into the slow, drifting water that waits for each ripple to quiet before it carries your worries away. You roll onto your back, lanterns glow flickering against the low ceiling. Shadows gather in pockets overhead, slipping through cracks in the stone like old secrets that never needed words to stay alive. A single droplet hangs from a ridge just above you, trembling for a moment before it lets go, falling through the hush, landing on the pool with a faint tap that drifts through the chamber like a lullaby that hums itself to sleep. Somewhere in the dark, the hidden stream continues its journey, slipping through rock and sand, curling around corners no footstep ever touches. Some say it carries with it the memories of every story whispered here, folding them into its current so gently they never have to end. You sit up slowly, the hush pressing into your spine as you gather your lantern. Its light dances across the water one last time, catching tiny flecks of mineral that shimmer like dust caught in a sunbeam. Except here, no sun ever finds this place. Only the hush and the drip and the echo of your own breath. Beyond the pool, a narrow passage winds upward. The air grows cooler as you step into it, the scent of damp earth curling around your shoulders like a blanket you carry with you. Your fingertips trail along the wall, tracing small ridges where water once carved paths into stone. Rivers turn to memories. Tunnels turn to resting places for thoughts that need no light to stay alive. Halfway up the slope, you find a ledge worn smooth by time. You sit there for a while, boots pressed into the soft sand, lantern resting beside you. From here, you can hear the drip behind you and the faint sigh of the stream somewhere deeper down. Two gentle voices the hush keeps close, so you never feel alone, even when the dark grows thick. You lean your head back, eyes slipping half closed. Each breath drifts out slow and easy, a thread of hush that hums between your ribs, pressing your heartbeat into the same patient rhythm the caves have kept for centuries. Above you, a crack in the ceiling lets in a whisper of air from somewhere far above. Forest roots tangled through stone, frost pressing against the earth, wind brushing past the cave's hidden mouth where moonlight waits but does not enter. And you, here tonight, feel that hush fold tighter around you. Warm, steady, the kind of quiet that does not push you towards sleep, but holds you open, soft, until dreams come on their own. This is your ledge tonight, another calm curve in this endless, forgotten, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the stream carry your echoes away. Let the drip mark each moment like a promise. And let the caves where time forgot remind you, sometimes the deepest rest is found in places that never ask you to leave. Stay on the ledge as long as you need. Feel how the hush gathers around your shoulders, draping over you like the softest blanket. One stitched together from the drip, the echo, and the slow breath of stone that never needed sunlight to know how to hold you. Your lantern flickers beside you, its small flame bowing to the hush, every time the breeze slips through the narrow crack above. You watch the shadows dance across the rough ceiling, shapes bending and smoothing until they fade back into the dark that lives here, patient and kind. You stand slowly, the hush rising with you. Your boots press into the soft sand as you follow the narrow path higher, your fingertips brushing along the wall to feel how the stone hums beneath your skin. A low, steady song that only the caves remember. The passage curves gently now, widening into one last chamber hidden behind the ledge. It feels warmer here, air heavy with the scent of wet earth and minerals that cling to your breath like a memory you do not need to name. In the center of this quiet room, a small pool waits. Unlike the others, its surface barely ripples. A dark mirror pressed so flat that you can see your face drifting there, eyes half closed, softened by the hush that hums behind every drop. You kneel at the water's edge, letting your palm rest just above the surface. Your reflection blurs where your fingertips touch, circles drifting out across the pool until they press against the stone edge and fade without a sound. Some say these final pools are wishes the hush keeps safe, stories folded into the water drop by drop, never spoken, but always felt by those who sit here long enough to listen. You lie back on the cool stone floor, lantern resting near your shoulder, its glow painting the ceiling in soft gold that hums in rhythm with the drip and the hush. Above you, tiny beads of moisture gather on the rock, each one trembling before it falls, a patient promise that nothing here ever rushes, that time has long forgotten how to chase you through these walls. Outside, the forest stands silent, moonlight pressing against the cave's hidden mouth, but never finding its way down to you. Roots stretch deep into the stone, tangling through narrow cracks, holding the hush steady so it never spills out into the world that measures minutes in footsteps and hours in worry. Here, there is only the hush, the drip, the breath, the quiet echo of your heartbeat settling softer with every blink. Your eyes slip closed now, breath drifting slow, chest rising and falling in the same rhythm the caves have held for centuries. You feel the hush curl under your ribs, fold into your thoughts, cradle each dream before it drifts through the tunnels to rest beside every other secret the stone keeps safe. Somewhere deeper in the dark, the stream hums on, slipping through cracks too narrow for any light, carrying your sleep with it like a promise that you will always belong here when the world above feels too loud to hold. This is your cave tonight, the final resting hollow in this deep, timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let your heartbeat settle into the drip. Let your thoughts drift into the hush. Let the caves where time forgot remind you, sometimes the best dreams are the ones that never needed the sun to bloom. Sleep well, sleep deep. And when you wake, may the hush follow you, soft as stone, steady as water, quiet as the echo that always knows its way back home. Are you asleep already, or drifting somewhere in between? Maybe you're still here, wrapped in this quiet breath. This is boring history for sleep. And if your mind is still wandering, let it wander a little further, into another forgotten place. The bridge that crossed no river. Imagine now a path that drifts out from a village so small its name was forgotten long before the last stone of this bridge was ever set. The road bends through meadows and low hills, grass waving softly in a breeze that hums secrets only the hush can hold. You follow this path at your own pace, boots brushing over dirt, packed firm by footsteps that never rushed. There is no sound but the hush of wind in the tall grass, the distant sigh of a bird settling into its nest before the night folds everything quiet again. At the crest of a gentle hill, the bridge appears, stone arches rising out of the earth, stretching into the hush as if they once knew where to lead but have long since forgotten. There is no river here, no stream runs beneath the mossy stones, no water rushes by to carry the echoes of footsteps away. Only dry ground below, wildflowers and soft brush that have grown up to meet the bridge's shadow, roots tangled around the pillars that stand steady with nothing to cross. Some say the river did run here once, that its current carved the banks so deep the villagers needed a way across when spring storms filled the channel with churning water. They say the bridge was built stone by stone, each block laid with hands that knew how to listen to the hush between hammer strikes. But the river wandered away, drifting its banks elsewhere, finding a softer bed to carry its secrets far beyond these fields. It left the bridge behind, arches standing patient against the sky, holding the hush like an old promise no one asks it to keep. You step onto the first stone, boots pressing into lichen and moss. The hush feels different here, folded into each block, humming softly through the mortar that holds centuries in place. Halfway across, you pause. Look left and right. Nothing but grass and wildflowers below, swaying under arches that cast shadows longer than the bridge itself. The wind slips through, brushing your cheek, carrying the scent of old stone warmed by sunlight that fades slow at the edges of dusk. Somewhere beyond the far side, the path bends again, drifting into trees that whisper to each other when the hush grows too heavy to hold alone. But here, on this bridge that crosses no river, time presses gentle at your back. No water moves beneath your feet to carry your thoughts away. They settle instead into the hush that hums through each stone, a promise that not every crossing needs a current to matter. And you here tonight feel your breath match that hush. Slower, softer, held steady by arches that stand because they choose to, not because they must. This is your bridge tonight, the first quiet step in this patient, forgotten, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the wildflowers grow where the river once ran. Let the arches stand against the dusk, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you, sometimes what holds you up is the quiet beneath your feet. Stay standing on the bridge for a while longer. Let your fingertips brush the rough edge of the stone railing. Feel how the hush lives in every tiny crack, pressed there by years of wind and rain and silence. Below you, the wildflowers sway gently, where the river once ran. Roots cling to old riverbed stones, weaving through pebbles smoothed by water that wandered away without saying goodbye. You walk a little farther along the arch, boots scraping softly over patches of moss that glow pale green in the fading light. Each step hums into the hush, the bridge carrying the sound just far enough before folding it back into the quiet. Halfway across, you pause at a small alcove built into the side, a curved recess where travelers once stopped to lean their packs, to watch the river flow below. Now it cradles nothing but air, and the soft promise that even empty spaces can hold you when you need them most. You rest your hand on the stone wall, Tiny flecks of lichen cling there, pale threads curling like old ink lines, stories pressed into rock by the hush alone. Some say the villagers gathered here in springtime when the river ran strong. They would toss flowers from the bridge, watching petals drift on the current, each one carrying a wish or a whispered secret the water promised to keep. When the river left, the people stayed a while longer. They crossed the bridge even when the bank below was dry, footsteps echoing over grass that grew where fish once darted through the shallows. They say when the last villager walked across, he paused in the middle, listening for the sound of water that no longer sang back. Then he laid his palm flat on the stone, pressed his wish into the hush, and left the bridge to stand alone with the wind and the grass, and the long, slow breath of time. You lean against the alcove now, letting your shoulders settle into its curve. The hush presses close around you, folding your heartbeat into the hush that hums through each stone block. Above, the sky fades into a soft wash of dusk. No stars yet, just a pale stretch of color that feels like a blanket pulled over the fields, tucking them in for the night. You close your eyes for a moment. The bridge holds you steady, arches cradling the space beneath your feet like hands that do not mind how empty the riverbed has become. And you here tonight, feel that hush gather behind your eyes, slow and patient, holding every thought just long enough to let it drift away like petals on a current that no longer runs. This is your alcove tonight, another small resting place in this quiet, forgotten, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the stones keep your secrets, let the wind hum through the arches, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you, sometimes the crossings you remember most are the ones that never needed water at all. Stay leaning against the alcove a while longer. Let your shoulder rest in its curve. Feel how the hush drifts through the stone, carrying the shape of every wish once pressed here when the river still knew how to sing. Your fingertips trace the edge of a weathered carving half hidden under moss. A faint swirl, maybe the shape of a fish or a wave, maybe just the echo of hands that wanted to leave something behind for the hush to hold. Beyond the alcove, the bridge stretches on, arches rising and falling like a quiet breath, each stone block fitted so carefully that even the hush slips between them without a sound. You step forward again, boots brushing over patches of lichen and small weeds that found a home where mortar cracked. Every footstep sinks into the hush before it can grow loud enough to wake the meadow below. Below you, the old riverbed winds like a ghost through the grass, a gentle line of darker soil where water once curved and bent, shaping the land the way your breath shapes the hush inside your chest. On the far side of the bridge, a single tree leans close to the last stone pillar. Its roots dig deep into the dry bank, branches arching overhead, leaves catching the evening breeze that hums through the arches and slips past your cheek. Some say this tree grew from a seed carried by the river when it first began to wander. It took root here when the water turned away, holding the hush steady so the bridge would never feel too empty standing alone. You stand beneath its branches now, letting your hand brush the rough bark. The hush hums through the wood, a quiet echo of the same promise pressed into the stones. That some things stay standing not because they are needed, but because they choose to hold the hush when the world moves on. Beneath the tree, a stone bench sits half buried in grass. You settle there, lantern resting beside your hip, breath drifting out in slow clouds that melt into the hush before the night can carry them away. Overhead, the sky softens into night, a single star blinking open above the arches, a pale light that does not push back the dark but hums within it, the way your thoughts do now. And you, here tonight, feel your heartbeat settle into the hush, matching the slow drift of wind through the branches, the gentle hum of the bridge that crosses no river and yet holds so much weight without ever asking why. This is your bench tonight, another quiet resting place in this forgotten, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the arches stand steady behind you, let the tree hold your thoughts close to its roots, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you. Sometimes what carries you forward is the hush beneath your feet. Stay seated on the old stone bench for a while. Let your palms rest on the cool surface. Feel how the hush hums through the stone, a quiet breath that has pressed itself into the cracks for centuries, holding every footstep, every whispered wish that never needed water to drift away. Above you, the branches sway gently. Leaves rustle in the soft night breeze, their edges brushing each other in a sound so light you wonder if it's the hush breathing out or the bridge itself remembering how it once listened to the river's song. You lean back, shoulders pressing against the rough bark of the tree that stands guard over this last pillar. Roots twist under your boots, finding their way around old stones that once touched the riverbed. Now they hold only the hush. Roots and rock tangled together in a promise to keep the bridge standing, even when the world forgets where it was meant to lead. Beyond the bench, the arches stretch into the dark, pale outlines of stone crossing over grass that glows silver under the thin light of the rising moon. No footsteps echo here now, only the hush drifting through the gaps where mortar has crumbled, weaving stories into the night that never needed words to survive. Some say the bridge was cursed to lose its river, built too strong for the water's wandering heart, its stones holding too tight to a current that needed to find its own way through the earth. Others believe the river loved the bridge too much, carried away piece by piece over the years, until only the hush was left behind to hold both banks together when no water came. You stand slowly, brushing moss from your sleeve. Boots step back onto the last stones of the arch, the hush curling up around your ankles like a soft stream that forgot how to flow. In the middle of the bridge, you pause once more. Below, the grass bends under the wind, tiny flowers nodding their heads where fish once slipped past rocks smoothed by the river's touch. You kneel, pressing your palm flat against the stone. The hush hums back, a low, steady echo that reminds you that crossing does not always need a current beneath your feet, that sometimes the hush alone is enough to carry you to the other side. Somewhere in the dark, an owl calls once, a sound so gentle it feels like the hush given wings. Its echo drifts through the arches, slips past your shoulder, then disappears into the meadow where the river once ran. And you here tonight feel the hush settle deeper in your chest, a quiet promise that you do not need to hurry forward, that you can rest where the arches stand, held steady by stone and roots and the memories they keep. This is your crossing tonight, another soft step in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the hush hum beneath your hand, let the arches hold you steady above the earth, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you. Sometimes the places that go nowhere are exactly where you need to be. Stay kneeling on the stone a while longer. Let your palm rest flat against the rough surface. Feel how the hush hums there, quiet but steady, like a heartbeat that learned how to slow down the moment the river wandered away. You stand again, boots brushing softly over moss that glows pale in the moonlight. Each step carries the hush with it, folding your thoughts into the arches that reach from one bank of wildflowers to the other, asking nothing from the water that once ran below. Halfway across, you pause where the stones curve just enough to let the hush gather under your feet. Here, you imagine how the river must have sounded. Soft currents lapping at the pillars, small waves brushing the banks, secrets carried off in ripples that never stayed long enough to tell the whole story. Somewhere deep under the dry bed, you know there are still pockets of water, hidden streams winding through roots and rock, carrying tiny echoes of the bridge's hum into places no footstep has ever found. You lean against the low wall now, elbows resting on the stone worn smooth by hands that once leaned here to watch driftwood sail under the arches. No driftwood comes now, only the hush drifts, curling around your wrists, slipping between your ribs until your breath matches its slow, patient rhythm. Below you, the meadow breathes too, grass bowing to the wind that slides through empty channels where fish once darted like flickers of silver in the dark. Wildflowers bloom in clusters where stones once caught the current's edge, roots pressing deeper each year, stitching the hush into the earth where the river forgot to return. Some say a keeper once lived at the end of the bridge, an old man who woke each dawn to watch the water flow beneath the arches, who whispered to the river so it would remember to come back each spring. But the water grew tired of being held in place. It turned its course, left the keeper with nothing but the hush to answer him when he leaned over the railing at dusk. You imagine him here now, boots scuffed from pacing the length of the stone, breath drifting out into the hush like an unanswered question, palms pressed flat, just as yours are now. Overhead, the sky deepens to ink. A handful of stars flicker through the branches of the old tree, their light too soft to chase the hush away, but enough to remind you that some bridges hold the night together even when no river binds the banks below. And you here tonight feel your heartbeat sink deeper into that hush. Every worry caught between stones that stand only because they want to, arches curving across an emptiness that has always known how to hold you still. This is your crossing tonight, another gentle step in this timeless, hidden, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the meadow keep its flowers, let the hush drift under your feet, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you sometimes what you leave behind is exactly what holds you up. Stay leaning against the old stone wall for a while. Let your elbows press into its rough edge. Feel how the hush drifts through every crack, weaving your heartbeat into the arches that stand steady against a sky that never asks where the river went. The breeze slips past your cheek, carrying the soft scent of grass and wildflowers that bloom in the empty riverbed. You watch their petals nod in the hush, roots digging deeper into earth that once held a current strong enough to pull the banks apart, but never strong enough to move the bridge. You step forward again, boots brushing over small tufts of moss that grow between the stones. Your lantern swings gently by your side, its light dancing across the arches, catching glimpses of old tool marks carved by hands that knew how to stack stone tight enough to keep the hush safe inside. Near the far end of the bridge, a small alcove waits, a recess carved into the pillar where travelers once paused to rest, to lean their packs against the cool stone, to whisper secrets to the river as it carried their words away. Now there is no river to listen, only the hush curling through the empty space, holding each memory like a promise that was never meant to be hurried. You step inside the alcove, shoulders pressing into its curve. Your breath drifts out in slow clouds that linger a moment before they fade into the hush that hums between the mortar lines. Somewhere beyond the far side, the path bends through low hills where wild grass sways under the moonlight. No footsteps echo there now, only the hush travels that road, slipping through roots and rocks, carrying stories that drift so slow they never need an end. You sit on the stone ledge built into the alcove, boots planted firmly on the bridge that crosses nothing but the hush. The arches rise behind you, their shadows stretching out across the meadow where the river once ran strong. Some say the villagers would come here on warm nights, lanterns flickering along the path, laughter drifting across the arches as they stood shoulder to shoulder, listening for the first rush of spring floods to touch the pillars once more. But the floods never came again. The river found another bed to carry its secrets, and the villagers learned how to hear the hush instead, pressing their wishes into the stone, leaving behind a quiet that never needed water to keep moving. Above you, the old tree's branches bend over the edge, leaves brushing the stone like fingertips, tracing a line you cannot see. A single leaf drifts down, landing on your knee before the hush carries it gently to the empty riverbed below. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts grow softer, each one pressing into the hush the way roots press into soil that never asks them to grow in straight lines. This is your alcove tonight, another hidden hollow in this quiet, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the arches hum their stories through the dark, let the empty riverbed cradle your worries in wildflowers and wind, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you, sometimes what you stand on is enough, even when nothing flows beneath your feet. Stay sitting in the alcove for as long as you wish. Let your back press into the curve of stone. Feel how the hush hums through the wall behind you, wrapping each breath in the same patience that holds the arches steady against the night. Your lantern flickers beside you, its glow bending across the stone floor, catching small flecks of moss that grow where the mortar loosened just enough to let the hush slip in and stay. Outside the alcove, the meadow below drifts in silver, wildflowers bending under the touch of a breeze that once carried the river's mist, but now hums only with the soft weight of grass and quiet roots. You close your eyes for a moment. In the dark behind your eyelids, you can almost see the river, a ribbon of silver curling under the arches, pulling bits of moonlight across its surface like secrets drifting from one bank to the other. But when you open your eyes again, there is only the hush. No water, no current, just the low hum of stone pressing its promise into your chest, steady as your heartbeat slowing to match its pace. Somewhere near the far end of the bridge, a single lantern once hung from a crooked post, a small flame flickering to guide travelers across when fog rose from the riverbed, blurring the arches into shapes that looked like they might float away if no one walked them before dawn. Now the post leans without a lantern. The hush holds the light instead, a quiet glow that lives in your breath, your steps, the soft scuff of boots on stone that no longer remembers how to echo too far. You stand pressing your palm flat against the alcove's inner wall. The stone feels cool, but the hush hums warm under your skin, a quiet reminder that sometimes a bridge holds you best when it crosses nothing at all. You walk slowly toward the far pillar, each step pressing the hush deeper into the arches. Roots of thought winding into cracks where wildflowers have found a home. Near the last stone, you pause again. Look back over the span of the bridge. Arches curve gentle against the night sky, dark shapes standing steady above a river of grass that drifts wherever the wind asks it to go. Some say the bridge dreamed once of the river's return, that each arch leaned a little closer to the earth, hoping to catch the first trickle, the first echo of water slipping past its feet. But the river chose another path, and the bridge learned to love the hush instead, a weightless current that carries every footstep, every breath, every heartbeat that pauses here to listen. And you, here tonight, feel that hush gather behind your eyes, slow and heavy like a promise pressed into stone that never needed a reason to stand. This is your pillar tonight, another strong, gentle place in this timeless, forgotten, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the arches stretch behind you like an old lullaby. Let the riverbed bloom where it pleases, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you. Sometimes what stays is more than enough. Stay by the last pillar for a while. Let your fingertips trace the edge where stone meets the hush. Feel how the quiet hums through every tiny crack. A promise that these arches stand not because they must, but because they choose to hold the weight of silence so gently. Below you, the old riverbed drifts on, a soft stretch of earth blanketed in grass and low flowers that bloom where currents once carved deep channels through the soil. Roots weave through old stones, stitching the hush deeper into the banks where water used to rush, and now only wind sighs through the stems. You sit on a small ledge carved into the side of the pillar, boots resting on the cool stone. Your breath drifts out in slow clouds, folding into the hush that curls around your shoulders, behind your ribs, into the spaces behind your eyes that grow heavier the longer you listen. Somewhere in the dark, the wind shifts. It drifts across the arches, humming between stones laid by hands that never imagined they would stand above a river of grass. Each note of that hush presses softly into the hollow spaces under the bridge, carrying with it the ghost of water that remembers how to flow only in dreams. You lean your head back against the pillar, feeling the rough surface cradle your neck, the hush humming there too, a soft lullaby that never needed words to remind you that this place knows how to hold you, even when nothing moves beneath your feet. Far down the path beyond the bridge, the low hills roll under a blanket of moonlight. No lanterns flicker there now, only the hush drifts along the trail, curling around old fence posts, brushing against wildflowers that bloom even when no one is watching. Some say that when the wind is right, you can hear the river's echo slip through the grass, a faint, watery murmur that reminds the bridge it was never really abandoned, just gifted a new current to hold. You close your eyes for a moment, listening for that echo. Maybe it's there in the hush, tucked behind the low hum of wind in the wildflowers, folded into the space where arches press into the night sky without asking the stars to notice. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts settle into that hush, each one drifting down through the pillar, the stones, the soft roots tangled at your feet, like a river that forgot how to rush and learned instead how to rest. This is your ledge tonight, another gentle place in this quiet, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the pillar hold your back steady. Let the hush keep its stories tucked deep in the grass, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you. Sometimes the strongest crossings are the ones that stand still. Stay seated on the ledge a while longer. Feel how the hush drifts into your spine, pressing every breath deeper into the stone until your heartbeat hums in time with the arches that stand above an emptiness they've learned to cradle like a gentle dream. You run your fingertips along the pillar beside you. Rough edges give way to patches smoothed by years of hands that once paused here, leaning into the hush while they watched the river slip away. Slow at first, then all at once, leaving behind only roots and whispers and the soft hum of grass. Below your boots, wildflowers sway in the low breeze. Petals catch the moonlight, turning silver where they bend toward the old riverbed. Roots tangled in soil that once ran wet and now breathes only the hush that drifts through its bones. You stand and step back onto the bridge, letting your boots press softly into the moss that lines the stones. Each arch stretches behind you like an old story told without hurry, a line of curved promises crossing a place that asks nothing in return but the weight of your footsteps pressing the hush deeper into the mortar. Halfway across, you pause again. There is no need to rush. The hush holds you steady, folding your breath into the same quiet that hums under your ribs, through your arms, behind your eyes that grow heavier each time you blink. Some say the bridge dreams when the wind blows just right, that it feels the ghost of water sliding beneath its feet, carrying tiny echoes of driftwood and ripples that hum lullabies to the roots growing where the current once sang. You lean over the edge, peering down into the soft sea of grass. There the hush hums, curling around stones left behind by the river's restless hands, small, smooth reminders that movement is not the only way to cross. An owl calls somewhere beyond the far side of the bridge. Its voice drifts through the arches, brushing your shoulder before it slips into the meadow, a soft echo that folds into the hush as if it had always lived here. You imagine the keeper again, his boots pacing the same path, palms pressed flat against the stone, breath drifting out in clouds that tangled with the hush long after the river chose its new bed. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts drift with him, pacing arches that stand steady, carrying nothing but the hush and the promise that some crossings are best kept empty. This is your crossing tonight, another quiet step in this patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the owl's call fade into the dark, let the hush hold your footsteps tight between the stones, and let the bridge that crossed no river remind you, sometimes the strongest current is the one that never moves. Stay standing on the bridge a little longer. Let your hand rest on the low wall. Feel how the hush hums through the cold stone, pressing each heartbeat deeper into the arches that hold you steady even when there is nothing beneath your feet to carry you away. The night is full now. Sky stretched wide above the meadow, a handful of stars scattered across the dark, like seeds drifting on the hush that winds through grass and roots where the river once sang. You walk toward the middle of the bridge one last time. Boots brush over moss that grows thick between stones, each step folding your thoughts into the quiet that hums between the arches, pressing them deeper than any current ever could. Below you, the wildflowers bend and sway, petals glowing silver in the moonlight. Their roots twist through the old riverbed, wrapping themselves around stones smoothed by water long gone, holding the hush in place the way the arches hold you here tonight. Some say the bridge has learned to dream in the hush, that when the wind hums just right, the arches remember the river, the cool rush of spring floods. Brushing against their feet, the soft echo of driftwood tapping the pillars before slipping away. Others believe the bridge has forgotten the river altogether, that it has fallen in love with the emptiness beneath its arches, the weightless hush that hums steady through the stones, patient enough to cradle every footstep that finds its way here. You stand at the very center now. Close your eyes. Let your breath drift out in slow waves that slip through the hush, curling around the arches, sinking into the earth below where the riverbed sleeps beneath its blanket of grass. In the dark behind your eyelids, you feel the hush gather, warm and steady, pressing every thought softer until they drift like petals on a current that never moves. Above you, a faint breeze slips through the arches, brushing your hair from your forehead, carrying with it the quiet promise that what holds you up tonight is enough. Somewhere far beyond the end of the bridge, the path bends through the low hills, winding into places where the hush hums through roots tangled deep in soil that forgot how to hurry. You do not need to go there now. The bridge holds you just fine. Each arch cradles your weight. Each stone hums your breath back to you. Each gap in the mortar lets the hush slip through and wrap around your ribs like a lullaby that never needed words. You lean your palms flat against the wall. Feel the rough texture under your fingertips. Tiny cracks filled with moss, mortar softened by years of wind and rain, and footsteps that knew how to leave gently. And you here tonight, feel the hush gather behind your eyes, your thoughts drifting slow, your shoulders growing heavy, your breath folding into arches that stand because they choose to, not because they must. This is your bridge tonight, the last gentle crossing in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the wildflowers bloom where the river forgot to run. Let the arches hum their soft promise into the dark. And let the bridge that crossed no river remind you, sometimes the safest place to rest is the space where nothing needs to move at all. Sleep well, sleep deep. And when you wake, may the hush follow you, steady as stone, quiet as the river that once knew how to stay, gentle as a dream that holds you long after you've crossed to the other side. Are you resting quietly now? Breathing slow, eyes closed, body sinking deeper into the hush. Good. Stay just like that, still, warm, and safe. This is Boring History for Sleep, and while you drift at the edge of dreams, I'll take you somewhere forgotten, to the old inns where shadows rest. Imagine now a narrow road winding through hills so quiet you can hear the hush settle in the grass, pressing every blade flat against the earth each time the wind sighs and drifts away again. At the edge of that road stands an old inn, stone walls darkened by centuries of rain, wooden beams bowed under the weight of so many nights, holding so many stories that never needed to be told too loud. You step through the low doorway. Inside, the air tastes of wood smoke and old floors, the hush folding itself between the creak of the boards and the soft drift of shadows that gather near the hearth. No fire burns there now, only pale ash resting in the grate, a quiet memory of warmth that still hums through the cold stone when you lean close enough to feel it. A row of chairs lines the wall, each one carved by hand, legs uneven where they pressed into the same spots year after year. Their backs lean just slightly, as if they too have learned how to rest against the hush that fills every corner. Some say travelers stopped here when the roads grew too dark to walk alone, their footsteps slipping through the narrow door, breath turning soft as they crossed into the hush that kept the night waiting outside. They would sit for a while, boots stretched toward the hearth, voices drifting into the beams overhead, until they fell quiet enough to match the tick of the old clock that hung above the door. That clock stands still now, hands frozen at an hour no one remembers, its tick swallowed long ago by the hush that keeps time in softer ways. You move deeper into the room. Your boots brush over rugs so thin you feel the wood beneath, each step pressing a new line into the hush that hums through the floorboards. In the far corner, a single lamp flickers. Its flame bends low, shadows pooling around its base like stray thoughts settling where the hush knows how to keep them warm. You sit on a chair nearest the window. Outside, the moon drifts through the fog that curls around the roof beams, pressing every draft tight against the glass so nothing inside needs to feel how cold the night can be. Some say these inns remember every guest, every voice tucked into the hush between walls, every boot print pressed into the floorboards, every breath that drifted into sleep before the first light of morning found its way in. And you here tonight feel the hush gather behind your eyes, soft and steady, pressing your thoughts into the shadows that rest where the fire once burned. This is your hearth tonight, the first warm corner in this quiet, hidden, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the lamp glow where it flickers, let the shadows lean close to listen, and let the old inns where shadows rest remind you sometimes the safest place to dream is the one that asks nothing of you at all. Stay seated near the window for a while longer. Let your palms rest on the arms of the chair. Feel how the hush drifts up through the wood, pressing each breath slow and steady into the shadows that lean close to listen. Outside the window, the road slips into the night, its edges softened by a thin curl of fog that drifts around the stone walls, wrapping the old inn in a blanket no cold wind can pull away. You watch the moonlight catch on the glass, pale shapes shifting with each breath you take, painting the floor in patterns that flicker like memories the hush has kept safe for more years than anyone can count. Somewhere behind you, a loose shutter taps gently against the frame. Its soft knock drifts through the hush, folds into the beams above, hums along the old rafters where dust gathers in corners that never needed sweeping. You stand and move across the room, boots pressing into the rugs that remember every footstep, every heel dragged in from the dark road outside, every small scuff that slipped into the hush and stayed. Near the hearth, you find a row of iron hooks along the wall. Old coats hang there still, sleeves frayed at the cuffs, buttons lost, pockets heavy with lint, and the weight of stories whispered to the hush when no one else was listening. You slip your fingers into one of those pockets. Inside, nothing but a small scrap of paper folded so many times its edges feel like cloth. You do not open it. The hush holds what it needs to hold, and you know some secrets rest better in the dark. Beyond the hearth, a narrow hallway leads deeper into the inn. Your boots creak softly on the boards, each step drifting a new note into the hush that hums along the walls, pressing old wallpaper flat, where patterns bloom in faded petals no one has traced for years. At the end of the hall, a door waits half open. You push it gently with your fingertips, hinges groaning so quietly you wonder if they too have learned how to whisper. Inside, a small room holds a single bed tucked against the far wall. A quilt lies folded at the foot, corners worn, threads pulling free where restless dreams caught themselves before the hush lulled them back to sleep. You sit on the edge of the bed, breath drifting out in slow clouds that curl through the hush before they settle into the shadows gathered under the low beams. Some say the old inns keep every dream that drifts through these rooms, folded into pillows that sigh under the weight of sleep, pressed into the hush that hums through the floorboards, woven into quilts that remember how to hold warmth long after the fire goes cold. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts drift under the quilt's soft edges, slow, steady, pressing deeper into the hush that knows how to keep every shadow safe. This is your bed tonight, another quiet corner in this hidden, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the shutters knock when they need to. Let the hush keep the paper folded tight. And let the old inns where shadows rest. Remind you, sometimes the safest place to be is the one that lets your thoughts drift wherever they need to go. Stay sitting on the edge of the bed for a while longer. Let your palms rest on the worn quilt. Feel how the hush drifts through each faded thread, carrying the warmth of 1,000 dreams folded here, long before you found your way in from the dark road outside. The lamp on the small table flickers softly, its flame bending with each hush that slips through the cracks in the window, brushing the old curtains aside before drifting into the shadows gathered near the floor. You lean back against the headboard, shoulders pressing into the smooth wood polished by countless other guests who sat just like this, letting their breath settle into the quiet hum that lives between these walls. The hush holds you steady now, weaving your heartbeat into the creak of the floorboards, the sigh of the shutter tapping gently at the far end of the hall, the soft rustle of branches outside brushing against the roof where owls rest their wings. Somewhere in the hush, you imagine footsteps, boots left at the door, heavy coats hung on hooks near the hearth, tired voices drifting into the beams overhead before they, too, grew quiet enough to sleep. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the hush settle deeper around you. No footsteps now, only the echo of dreams pressed into pillows, corners of quilts tugged close around shoulders that once leaned into the same night. You swing your legs up onto the bed, boots left on the rug below where they wait patiently, holding the dust of the road you no longer need to walk tonight. Under your head, the pillow sighs, a soft hum that drifts through the hush, carrying every thought you forgot to lay down, tucking them into corners where the shadows know how to keep them warm. Beyond the window, the moon slips behind a slow curl of clouds, its light bending through the glass to paint the quilt in soft shapes that drift with each breath you take. Some say the old inns breathe too, walls exhaling the hush through the halls, floorboards creaking under the weight of sleep that never needed to hurry, rafters humming each secret back to the shadows that lean close to listen. You feel that hush now, pressed into your chest, folded behind your eyes, wrapped around your ribs like a blanket stitched together from every sigh that ever slipped through these rooms. And you here tonight feel your heartbeat sink deeper into the hush, slow, steady, safe inside the inn where shadows rest. This is your bed tonight? Another warm corner in this patient, forgotten, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the shutter knock if it wants to. Let the hush carry your dreams through the beams overhead. And let the old inns where shadows rest remind you, sometimes the warmest places are the ones that never ask you to stay awake at all. Stay lying on the bed a while longer. Feel the hush slip through the quilt, pressing each breath softer, folding every thought into the space between your ribs where shadows rest without ever needing to speak. The lamp on the small table flickers low, its flame bending toward the hush that hums through the floorboards, winding up the beams, drifting into the corners, where the ceiling sighs under the weight of so many nights spent holding dreams just like yours. You shift slightly, the mattress creaking under your shoulder, a sound so soft it feels like an old lullaby whispered through the hush, reminding you that you are not the first to lie here, letting the quiet carry you where sleep waits without hurry. Outside the window, the wind slips through branches that tap gently on the roof, leaves brushing against the old tiles, each touch folding into the hush before drifting down to the road where lanterns once flickered in the dark. Somewhere down the hall, a door moves on its hinges, a slow creak that hums through the hush like footsteps that never quite make it to your room. They pause at the threshold, decide not to knock, and drift away, their echoes swallowed into the beams that hold every sound too tired to speak. You let your fingers trace the edge of the quilt, feeling how the seams fray under your touch, threads tugged loose by so many hands before yours, each one pressing a little warmth into the hush that keeps them tucked away. Above you, the rafters groan softly, wood shifting as the hush breathes through cracks that let the night slip in just enough to remind you the world outside is far away now. Some say the old inns were built on crossroads that never quite lined up, that every room holds a corner where time folds back on itself, pressing every heartbeat into the hush so it hums forever through the walls. You feel that hum now, warm against your cheek where it touches the pillow, gentle along your spine where the mattress bows to hold you steady, soft behind your eyes where dreams gather in slow circles that drift without ever needing to land. The lamp flickers again, a tiny hiss drifts through the hush, then settles as the flame bends lower, shadows leaning into rest where the light once burned bright. And you here tonight feel the hush cradle your heartbeat, slow and steady, tucked into the quilt's worn seams, pressed deep into floorboards that remember how to hold sleep long after footsteps have gone. This is your room tonight, another safe corner in this quiet, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the door creak if it needs to, let the shadows lean close to listen, and let the old inns where shadows rest remind you sometimes the best place to drift is where every sigh has already been folded into the hush. Stay lying under the quilt for a while longer. Feel how the hush settles heavier with every breath, pressing your heartbeat deep into the mattress that hums with memories you never have to carry alone. Outside the window, the wind shifts again, brushing branches softly against the stone walls. The sound drifts through the hush like a whisper from the road, a reminder that beyond these beams, the world waits, but here, it can only watch while you drift deeper inside the quiet. The lamp's glow bends low now, flame swaying as if it too is growing tired, ready to fold itself into the hush that hums along the floorboards and climbs up into the beams that hold this old inn steady through so many nights. You close your eyes, listening for the echoes that live inside the walls. A faint creak of footsteps above, maybe a floorboard remembering how boots once crossed it on tired legs, carrying a lantern that flickered just bright enough to guide someone into sleep. You roll to your side, cheek pressed to the pillow that sighs beneath you, gathering your breath into its faded fabric the way it has done for countless others. Wanderers, dreamers, lost souls who needed nothing more than a place to rest their eyes while shadows kept watch. Some say the shadows here never mean harm. They gather where warmth lingers, pressing themselves into corners where the hush curls thickest, so even your deepest dreams drift safe under their patient watch. In the far corner of the room, an old wardrobe leans slightly, its door cracked just enough to show a sliver of dark inside. You imagine coats still hang there, sleeves brushing each other when the hush breathes in, stories folded into pockets, secrets stitched into seams that will never see the road again. A draft slips through the crack, stirring the shadows at its feet. They drift across the floorboards, curling around your boots left near the bed, pressing close as if they too know how to rest when the hush hums low. Above you, the rafters sigh once more, wood shifting in the hush, creaking just enough to remind you this place is alive in its own quiet way, holding every breath that ever drifted into its beams. Your fingers curl into the quilt's frayed edge, tracing threads pulled loose by nights just like this, each one carrying a small piece of the hush back into the shadows that wait near the lamp, patient and soft. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts press deeper under the quilt, folding themselves into the hush that hums steady through the room, warm as a promise no one needs to speak aloud. This is your pillow tonight, another soft corner in this timeless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the wardrobe stand half open if it wants to. Let the shadows rest where they choose. And let the old inns where shadows rest remind you, sometimes the deepest dreams are kept safe by walls that never needed to close completely. Stay lying still under the quilt for a while longer. Feel how each breath drifts softer now, slipping into the hush that hums through the mattress, the floorboards, the beams overhead that remember every sigh ever left behind. The lamp on the small table flickers again, its glow bending lower, shadows leaning closer to listen as the flame hums its final note before the hush folds it gently into the dark. You let your eyelids drift closed, lashes brushing the pillow that sighs under your cheek. Somewhere beyond the window, the wind curls through the low branches that tap the stone wall, their soft knocks pressing into the hush, becoming part of the quiet that keeps your thoughts from wandering too far. In the corner, the old wardrobe creaks once, A hinge settling, wood shifting just enough to remind you it holds more than coats and forgotten pockets. It holds stories the hush keeps safe, secrets that drift from sleeve to sleeve, never needing to be spoken aloud. Some say these old inns were built on crossroads of dreams, corners where thoughts slip free from tired minds and find their way into beams and rafters, settling there like dust in the hush that hums each story, back when you're ready to sleep. You roll to your other side, the quilt folding close around your shoulders, its threads pressed gentle against your skin, frayed edges catching the last of the lamp's glow before it fades into the hush that pools at the foot of the bed. Above you, the rafters breathe. A soft groan drifts through the wood, old nails sighing where they hold beams steady, each creak a promise that this place has never let a shadow fall too far from where the hush can catch it. Your boots wait near the bed, laces half undone, soles pressed flat into the worn rug that holds the dust of roads you no longer need to walk tonight. Even they seem to listen, their empty weight sinking into the hush, carrying no echo, only the memory of footsteps that led you here. Beyond the window, the moon slips behind another slow drift of clouds. Its light presses faint against the glass, painting the quilt in pale shapes that move each time you breathe. And you, here tonight, feel your heartbeat slow to match the hush, every thought softer now, tucked between the pillow and the quilt, folding into the shadows that rest where the lamp once burned bright. This is your dream tonight, another safe hollow in this quiet, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the wardrobe keep its secrets, let the branches tap their lullaby against the wall, and let the old inns where shadows rest remind you, sometimes the deepest sleep comes in places where the hush knows exactly how to hold you. Stay nestled under the quilt a while longer. Feel how the hush presses deeper now, folding each breath softer, curling your thoughts into corners where the shadows hum themselves to sleep. You can almost hear the heartbeat of the old inn itself, a slow, patient rhythm that moves through the beams above, the floorboards below, the walls that hold the hush close, like an old secret passed from one dreamer to the next. Outside the window, the wind drifts quieter. The branches tapping the stone wall have grown tired too, their soft knocks fading into the hush that wraps around the eaves, pressing each leaf still so nothing stirs more than it needs to. In the dark, the wardrobe stands open just enough for the hush to slip through its wooden frame, drifting through empty sleeves, weaving around buttons that never needed to be fastened again. Some say the coats left hanging here still hold the shape of the wanderers who wore them. Shoulders bent from roads that ran too long, pockets heavy with scraps of thoughts they couldn't carry any further. You imagine one of those scraps still tucked inside. A torn piece of paper, a word half written, a wish never spoken aloud. The hush keeps it safe now, folded into the lining where the shadows rest, without needing to understand its meaning. You shift under the quilt, the fabric brushing your skin like a lullaby, stitched from every sigh that ever drifted through this room. Its threads catch the soft hush and press it into your ribs, behind your eyes, into the slow beat of your heart that hums in time with the rafters above. Somewhere beyond the door, the hall breathes too, boards creaking as they settle into the hush, each groan slipping under the gap where the lamp's last glow has long since faded. You see nothing now but the dark behind your eyelids, shapes drifting slow, softer than dreams that need to be remembered in the morning. And you, here tonight, feel the hush settle heavier, pressing every thought down into the mattress, into the floorboards, into the beams that have always known how to keep your sleep safe. This is your quiet tonight, another gentle step in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the paper stay folded in its pocket. Let the wind rest in the branches overhead. And let the old inns where shadows rest remind you, sometimes the hush knows exactly where to keep you when you're too tired to hold yourself. Stay just as you are, lying still under the quilt, your breath drifting softer with each moment the hush settles deeper into the seams of this old room. The pillow sighs under your cheek, its shape pressed gentle around your thoughts the way the floorboards press the hush between each plank, holding every echo so it never grows loud enough to wake you. Beyond the window, the branches stand quiet now. No more knocks against the stone, only the faint whisper of wind curling through leaves that learned long ago how to rest when the hush asked them to. You let your hand slip free from under the quilt, fingertips brushing the frayed edge where threads hang loose like tiny secrets the hush has promised to keep safe. Each pull of the thread hums into your skin, a quiet reminder that not everything needs to be mended, when the hush knows how to hold it gently. In the far corner, the wardrobe leans into the dark, its door cracked just enough to show the faint shape of a coat sleeve swaying when the hush drifts through. No footsteps cross the floor to reach it. Only your breath moves now, each rise and fall folding your thoughts deeper into the hush that hums through the beams overhead. Somewhere in the rafters, an old knot in the wood creaks. It sounds almost like a door opening somewhere far away. But no one comes through, no voices follow. Only the hush moves, pressing that small sound into the shadows that gather at the foot of your bed. You roll slightly, cheek pressed to a cooler part of the pillow, eyelids heavy with the weight of the hush that has curled around every corner of this room. Even your heartbeat feels softer now, each slow thump drifting through your ribs, down into the mattress, into the boards that remember how to cradle dreams that never need to hurry home. Some say these inns were built where the road wanted to stop, that they stand at the edge of every long journey, waiting to gather footsteps and breath and thoughts too tired to be carried any further. You feel that edge now, not sharp but soft. A quiet line drawn between the world that waits outside and the hush that holds you here, wrapped in shadows that never need to ask why you stayed. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts blur at the edges, like ink fading on old paper tucked into the pocket of a coat that hasn't felt the road in years. This is your edge tonight. Another warm fold in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the branches stay still in the dark, let the hush slip through the wardrobe door, and let the old inns where shadows rest. Remind you, sometimes the safest place to stop is the one that asks nothing more of you than to close your eyes and rest. Stay exactly as you are, eyes closed, breath drifting slow, the hush folded so deep into the quilt, you can feel it hum through your shoulders, down your spine, into the mattress that holds you steady without ever asking you to move. The wind outside slips softer now, pressing its last whisper against the window before drifting back through the trees that lean close to the inn's old stone walls. No more tapping branches, only the hush breathing through leaves that know how to sleep when the world quiets down. You shift under the quilt just enough to feel how the seams gather your warmth, stitching every sigh into the hush that hums behind your eyes, soft as the shadows that gather near the foot of the bed. In the far corner, the wardrobe door stands open by a finger's width. No footsteps cross the floor to close it. The hush knows how to hold that gap, without letting the dark slip through too far. Somewhere beyond the room, the hallway creaks, boards settling under a weight that never quite makes it to your door. A soft echo folds into the hush, drifting through the beams overhead, sliding down the old walls that remember every dream ever whispered here. You press your cheek deeper into the pillow, breath brushing the worn fabric that sighs under you. It feels like a promise, that the hush will stay here long after you drift away, gathering each thought you forgot to set down, holding it safe so you don't have to carry it with you into sleep. Some say these inns were built by hands that knew how to listen, stacking stone on stone, beam on beam, not just to hold out the wind, but to cradle the hush like an old secret that could make even the longest road feel short once you stepped inside. You feel that secret now, pressed into the floorboards beneath your heartbeat, humming through the rafters where the shadows rest without ever needing to be chased away. Beyond the window, the moon slips behind the last curl of clouds. Its light bends around the edges of the glass, painting the quilt in soft shapes that drift each time you breathe, shapes that feel like the hush itself, moving closer to keep you warm. Your hand curls under your chin, fingers brushing the loose threads at the quilt's edge. Tiny knots of warmth pulled loose by countless dreamers who lay here before you, each one pressing a little of their hush into the seams so yours would feel softer tonight. And you here tonight feel your thoughts slip further from the road, footsteps fading behind you, boots resting by the door, coats hanging quiet in the wardrobe that no longer remembers what it feels like to travel. This is your stillness tonight, another hidden fold in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the boards creak when they need to, let the hush gather where it wants, and let the old inns where shadows rest remind you. Sometimes the longest journeys end where the hush knows how to keep you best. Stay exactly as you are now, eyes closed, breath drifting soft and slow, the hush folding itself deeper with every exhale, pressing each thought further from the road that brought you here. Under the quilt, warmth gathers where your shoulders sink into the mattress, the pillow sighing beneath your cheek each time your breath drifts out to join the hush that hums through these old beams and floorboards. Beyond the window, the night holds steady. The branches have grown still, their leaves folded tight against the wind that has nothing left to say. Only the hush moves now, curling around the eaves, slipping through tiny cracks where it hums its quiet promise into the rafters. You can almost hear the walls breathe too. A slow, patient exhale pressed into every seam of stone and wood that holds this inn together like an old secret. The road outside was never meant to carry away. Somewhere near the foot of the bed, a patch of shadow drifts across the floor. It moves when the hush moves, pressing close to the edge of the quilt as if it knows how to stand watch while your dreams slip further from your waking mind. You feel it settle there, not heavy but warm. The same warmth that hums through your heartbeat, slow as the hush, steady as the old boards that remember every breath laid down here before yours. In the wardrobe, coats sway so faintly you wonder if they move at all. Their sleeves brush each other when the hush drifts through, tiny echoes of roads no longer needed, boots left by doors that will never open again tonight. Some say these inns stand where the world softens, built in the quiet folds between hills that learned how to hold a hush so deep it sinks into your bones before you even realize how far you've drifted from the road. You feel that distance now, not wide but soft, like a river of breath carrying your thoughts downstream, each one sinking gently into the hush until nothing is left but the warmth that wraps around your ribs. Above you, the beams creak once, wood shifting under the hush that presses into every nail and knot, holding the ceiling steady while you drift through sleep. You roll your head slightly, cheek brushing the pillow's edge, fingers curling into the loose threads of the quilt one last time. It feels like a promise stitched into every frayed seam, that the hush will stay here long after your dreams have carried you deeper than the dark ever could. Outside, the moon fades behind the last drift of clouds. Its glow bends through the window, tracing soft shapes across the floor, across the wardrobe, across the shadows that lean close to keep the hush warm. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts drift so slow they forget how to find their way back. Each one pressed into the hush, into the boards, into the old walls that never needed to speak to keep you safe. This is your quiet tonight, the final resting place in this patient, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the road stay behind you, let the shadows keep their watch, and let the old inns where shadows rest remind you. Sometimes the deepest sleep blooms best, where the hush knows exactly how to hold you. Sleep well, sleep deep, and when you wake, may the hush follow you, soft as shadows, steady as beams, gentle as the dreams that rest where you do now. Are you still here, somewhere between the edge of a dream and the softness of your own breath? If your eyes are closed now, let them stay that way. If they're still fluttering open once in a while, that's all right too. Sometimes sleep comes slow, like a hush that needs a little time to wrap itself around you. I know how heavy the world can feel when the night grows quiet. Your thoughts drift to places you didn't mean to visit, footsteps echoing in your mind long after the day has ended. But here, you don't need to hold them anymore. Let them sink into this old hush. Let each breath press them deeper until you feel light enough to drift. You've been walking with me through old bridges, forgotten inns, lost roads that led nowhere, all places that held their hush like a secret gift for you alone. And now, while you lie still, your shoulders warm under the blanket, your heartbeat slow and patient, let me take you to one more place carved into the quiet, the ancient wall that divided silence. Don't worry if you drift off while I speak. Don't worry if you hear only pieces of this old story. It will hold you anyway. Just breathe slow, let your body grow heavy where you rest, and trust the hush to do what it does best. Carry you deeper, one word at a time. Imagine now a stretch of earth so wide and still that even the wind forgets how to speak when it crosses through. In the middle of that hush stands an old stone wall, its edges worn down by centuries of rain and sun, its top lined with moss that drapes over each block like a blanket the hush laid there to keep the stones warm. The path that leads you here drifts through low fields where wild grass hums against your boots. Each step presses a small echo into the hush, but the wall gathers those echoes and folds them into its seams before they can travel too far. You stand close now, palm resting on the cold stone. Beneath your fingertips, the wall hums with a silence so deep you wonder if it was built not to keep voices out, but to hold the hush in, so no word could escape to wake the fields. Some say the wall once split two villages that never learned how to speak to each other. that they stacked stone on stone, not out of anger, but out of an old wish to keep the hush pure on each side, so no voice would break the calm they had spent lifetimes weaving. Your eyes trace the line where the moss thickens, where shadows drift down one side and settle into soft hollows at the base. Roots press against the stone here, small tendrils curling through cracks that have held the hush for so long the stones forgot how to crumble. You walk along its length, boots brushing over patches of grass that sway just enough to remind you the hush lives in every blade, every drop of dew gathered where the wall meets the earth. Halfway down, you find a place where the stones dip low, a gap that looks just wide enough for someone to slip through if they wish to leave the hush behind. But when you step closer, you feel it gather thicker there, pressing your breath back into your chest as if to say, "Stay. There is nowhere quieter than this." You sit near the gap, back resting against the rough stone. Behind you, the wall hums, not with words, but with an old memory of all the footsteps that paused here, all the voices that softened before they ever found the air. Somewhere beyond the far end, the fields drift out into a pale mist that hums the same tune the wall holds inside each stone. No paths cut through that mist. Only the hush moves, carrying every forgotten echo until it settles where the moss grows thickest. And you here tonight feel your thoughts press into the hush too. Slow, steady, folded into the wall that never needed mortar to keep its silence whole. This is your wall tonight, the first quiet step in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the gap stay where it is. Let the hush lean close around your shoulders, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the strongest walls are the ones that hold nothing but quiet. Stay resting with your back against the cold stone for a while longer. Feel how the hush hums through each block, pressing your heartbeat slow and steady into the seams that hold this wall together, one quiet breath at a time. Your fingertips drift along the rough surface. Tiny cracks catch at your skin, small lines where rain once slipped through, carrying whispers of the hush down into the roots that twist beneath the wall, deeper than any footstep could ever find. Above you, moss curls thick around the edges, its threads brushing your knuckles like an old blanket that remembers every hand that paused here to rest. A single leaf trembles on the wall's top stone, caught by a breeze too gentle to wake the fields beyond. You lean your head back, cheek pressed against the stone's cool face. It hums so soft you almost miss it. A low vibration that has nothing to do with sound and everything to do with the hush that fills every crack and hollow this wall has gathered through centuries of standing still. Somewhere along its length, you imagine footsteps. Slow, careful, boots brushing through the grass on the far side. But the hush folds each step before it can echo too far, pressing it back into the wall so the silence stays whole. You close your eyes for a moment. Behind your lids, you see the wall as it was when the first stones were lifted. Hands stacking block on block, voices lowered so the hush would not slip away before it had a place to stay. They say no mortar was ever used here, just stone pressed against stone, the weight of the hush itself keeping every block steady when the winds came down from the hills. You stand now, boots pressing soft indentations into the damp grass. Your fingers trace a line where roots push through the base, curling into the soil where the hush hums louder than the wind ever could. Beyond the wall, the fields roll out, pale and soft under a mist that gathers around the edges. A quiet veil that carries no footsteps, no voices, only the hush drifting from one blade of grass to the next. You walk along the length of the wall, one hand pressed to its side. Each stone feels different under your palm, some warm from the day's last light, some damp and cold where the hush has gathered thickest. Halfway down, you pause again. A small hollow opens in the stone, not a gate, not a door, just a soft dip where the hush settles deeper than anywhere else. You lean in, breath brushing the moss that grows here untouched, your thoughts slipping through the gap where the silence feels like it could swallow every word you've ever needed to say. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts drift slow and steady, pressing themselves into the wall's old hush, folded there like roots winding deeper with every breath. This is your hollow tonight, another patient corner in this timeless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the footsteps stay soft behind the wall, let the hush gather in the moss, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the strongest silence is the one you build around yourself to keep your dreams safe. Stay leaning into that hollow in the stone a while longer, Feel how the hush gathers around your shoulders, pressing every small sound into the moss that cradles your breath, folding your heartbeat into the hush that has lived here longer than any voice ever dared to whisper. Your palm rests flat against the damp rock. Tiny beads of moisture cling to your skin, cool threads that slip through your fingers before they drift down to the roots that wind below the wall's old bones. Above you, the sky stretches wide and pale, a thin wash of moonlight drifting through a soft mist that curls low around the top stones, painting each one in a quiet glow that hums the same way the hush hums behind your eyes. You close them now, letting the wall hold your weight, your breath. Behind your lids, you see the first stones again, lifted one by one from the fields, set in place by the hands that knew how to press silence into every gap before the hush could slip away. They say the builders spoke no words when they worked here. Each lift, each stack, each careful fit of one block to another was done in a hush so deep that even the birds in the hedgerows fell silent until the wall was whole. You open your eyes just enough to trace the line of the wall disappearing into the mist. No torches mark its path, no gates break its length. Only a single path drifts alongside, a soft curve pressed into the grass by footsteps that always knew how to walk without waking the hush. You follow that path now, boots brushing against low bramble that catches at your laces but never tugs too hard. Each step feels softer than the one before, the hush pressing up through the soles of your boots, winding through your breath, your ribs, your thoughts that drift slower with every stone you pass. Near the far end of the wall, you find another hollow, this one lower, wide enough for you to kneel, shoulders pressed close to the hush that hums in a pocket of shadows, gathered where the moss grows thickest. Some say this hollow was a place to leave words behind, scraps of parchment slipped between stones, confessions folded so gently they would never need to be spoken aloud again. You imagine them now, tiny pieces of stories, promises, regrets, each one tucked deep into the hush, softened by the moss that holds them safe in the dark, where no wind can carry them away. You lean forward, cheek brushing the stone. Its chill hums into your skin, pressing every restless thought flat, folding your breath into the hush, the way roots curl into earth. They know we'll never ask them to grow too fast. And you here tonight feel your heartbeat slow to match the hush, every pulse drifting into the cracks, down through the wall, into the soil where the silence hums so deep that even your dreams forget how to wake. This is your hollow tonight, another patient resting place in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the parchment stay hidden, let the moss keep its secrets soft, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the quietest walls hold the deepest dreams. Stay kneeling by the hollow for a while longer. Feel how the hush drifts up through the stones, pressing against your chest, wrapping each breath in the same quiet that hums through the moss, gathered thick where the wall dips into the earth. You let your fingertips brush the edge of the hollow. Tiny flakes of stone crumble under your touch, drifting down to the roots that twist through cracks so deep they never see the sun. Only the hush that lives below, where voices never reach. Beyond the wall, the fields lie soft and wide. Mist drifts along the ground, carrying the hush out into grass that bends just enough to show the path of footsteps that once paused here before turning back into the quiet. You rest your forehead against the cool stone. It hums through your skin, a low, patient song that never needed words, just the warmth of your breath slipping into its seams, folding your thoughts into places the wind forgot how to find. Somewhere further down the wall, the path curves around an old gate that never opens. Its iron hinges so rusted they hum no sound when the hush slips through. They say the gate was built as a promise, a way through that no one ever needed, because the wall held the hush so gently, no voice ever wished to cross. You stand slowly, boots pressing soft indentations into the damp grass. Your palms rest flat against the stone, feeling the hush press back, warm where the moss clings thickest, cool where the cracks drift deeper than your breath could ever reach. You walk on now, fingers trailing along the wall's rough edge. Each block feels different, some pressed smooth by centuries of wind and rain, others pocked with tiny holes where roots once curled inside to find a place to rest. Halfway to the end, you pause at a small ledge carved into the stone, just wide enough for you to sit. You settle there, shoulders leaning into the hush that hums through your back, folding your heartbeat into the wall's old silence like a promise that has never needed to be spoken aloud. Above you, the mist lifts for a moment. Moonlight drifts through the break, painting the wall in pale silver, catching threads of moss that shine like tiny rivers running along the stones before slipping back into the cracks. Some say if you sit here long enough, the hush will take your dreams and press them deep into the wall. Not to keep them hidden, but to hold them steady, so they drift back to you softer, quieter, easier to carry when the world grows loud again. You rest your hands on your knees, breath drifting out slow. The hush catches each exhale, folding it into the shadows that gather near the base, pressing every worry into roots that know how to hum them back into the earth. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts slip further from the edge of waking, each one sinking behind your eyes into the hush, into the old stones that have always known how to hold the silence whole. This is your ledge tonight, another quiet place in this patient, endless boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the gate stay closed, let the moss hold the secret soft, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you, sometimes the strongest hush is the one you choose to lean into when the world has nothing left to say. Stay sitting on the narrow ledge for a while longer. Feel how the hush drifts through the stone behind you, pressing your shoulders forward, folding each breath deeper into the seams, where moss and roots keep their quiet promises safe. Your palms rest on your knees, fingertips brushing against the rough fabric of your trousers. The warmth of your own skin, the only sound that dares to move through the hush wrapped tight around this old wall. Beyond the top edge, mist curls low again, slipping back to hide the moon. In its place, shadows gather where the moss hangs thickest, weaving themselves into the cracks like threads that hum. Your thoughts back to sleep before they have the chance to wander too far. You let your head tilt forward, chin resting against your chest. Behind your eyelids, the hush feels heavy now, a soft weight pressing each heartbeat into the stones, into the roots, into the dark soil that holds every whisper too tired to rise again. Somewhere along the length of the wall, you imagine footsteps. They drift slow, boots brushing through dew-soaked grass, each step lighter than the last, until they pause at a gap so narrow only the hush could slip through without breaking its shape. No voices follow those footsteps. No greetings call across the divide. Only the quiet remains, folding each echo into the stone so that every promise, every story, every breath stays tucked away in the hush that keeps this place whole. You open your eyes just enough to see the outline of your boots resting in the grass below the ledge. Dirt clings to the soles, small reminders of the path you walked to find this wall, each print pressed into the earth like a soft question the hush already knows how to answer. Your hand drifts to the wall beside you. You press your palm flat against a block warmed by the last touch of the sun. The stone hums back, not with words, but with the slow, patient hush that has lived here for centuries, without needing a single voice to keep it alive. Above you, the mist shifts again. A break opens just wide enough for the moon to slip through, silver light falling across the wall, catching on the moss that drapes in long, quiet threads down the stones. Some say this wall was never meant to keep people apart, that it was built to give the hush a place to live, a place to press against your ribs when the world grows too loud to hold. You lean back, shoulders pressing deeper into the stone, the ledge creaking under your weight but holding steady, the hush curling under your breath, your heartbeat, your thoughts that drift soft as roots weaving through the cracks. And you, here tonight, feel your eyelids grow heavier, each blink slower than the last, each exhale folding your worries into the hush that hums through the wall, through the ground, through every dream that finds its way here. This is your ledge tonight, another quiet resting place in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the footsteps stay gentle in the grass, let the moss hold the hush where it hums best, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you, sometimes the strongest walls are the ones that give you somewhere soft to lean when you're ready to drift away. Stay resting on the ledge for a while longer. Feel how the hush hums steady through the stone at your back, pressing your heartbeat deeper into the cracks, the moss, the old roots that hold this wall together when the wind grows tired of passing by. You draw your knees closer to your chest, breath drifting out in slow clouds that melt into the hush before they ever find the other side. Your fingertips trace small lines in the moss, each thread cool and soft, where it wraps around the edges of stone, worn smooth by centuries of patient quiet. Beyond the wall, the fields lie still, a stretch of pale mist that curls through wild grass and vanishes into the dark without ever asking for a sound to follow. No footsteps echo here tonight. Only the hush moves, carrying your thoughts with it in slow circles that never need to find their way back. Somewhere above, the moon drifts behind a thin veil of cloud, its light bending through the mist to catch on the wall's rough top. Tiny droplets cling to the moss, each one trembling before they slip down to feed the roots that hum beneath the stones. You lean your head back, eyes half closed. Behind your lids, you see the wall as it must have looked when the first stones were lifted, hands pressing block to block in quiet reverence, voices held close so the hush would have room to settle in the seams. They say the builders never spoke more than a single word the whole time they worked, that every stone was set with a breath instead of a promise, so the wall would never owe the world a voice it didn't have. You stand slowly, boots pressing new prints into the soft earth near the ledge. Your palm slides along the stone as you walk, each block humming back, each rough edge catching your skin, just enough to remind you how old this hush really is. Halfway along the wall's length, you find another dip where the stones lean close together, the gap so narrow even the wind has to slip sideways to pass through. Moss hangs in thick threads here, curling around your fingertips when you reach in, breath pressed flat by the hush that hums like a lullaby for thoughts too tired to stay awake. You step through the gap, but only just enough to feel the difference on the other side. It hums softer here, the hush folded deeper into the stones, as if this half of the wall learned how to hold the silence even tighter when no one was looking. You sit on the low grass, back pressed against the stones. Your shoulders sink into the hush, every breath drifting down through your spine into the roots that cradle the wall's old bones. Some say this wall was never finished, that each end trails off into the mist on purpose, so the hush would have somewhere to drift when the stones grew full of every breath left behind. And you, here tonight, feel your eyes slip heavier with each exhale, your thoughts softening where they press into the hush. Your heartbeat folding itself between the moss and the stone and the soft dark that hums without asking anything from you at all. This is your gap tonight, another hidden hollow in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the mist drift wherever it needs to. Let the hush hum itself deeper into your ribs. And let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you, sometimes the quietest place to rest is the one built stone by stone to hold nothing but the sound of you letting go. Stay sitting near the narrow gap for a while longer. Feel how the hush slips through the stones at your back, pressing gentle warmth along your spine, folding each breath deeper into the moss and roots that keep the old walls standing when the wind has nowhere else to go. Your fingers brush the edges of the gap, cool stone against warm skin, tiny flakes of lichen catching at your nails before drifting down to rest in the grass below. Each touch feels like a small promise given back to the hush, a soft reminder that you don't have to hold anything too tightly tonight. You lean your head against the stone, cheek pressed to a patch of moss so thick it hums when you exhale. Somewhere far beyond the other side, the mist drifts slow through the fields, carrying whispers of your heartbeat with it, but never letting them travel so far they forget how to find their way back. Above you, the moon slips behind another cloud. Its light bends around the top of the wall, silver threads catching on each stone before melting into the hush that hums through every crack and seam. They say if you sit here long enough, you can feel the wall breathe, not with air, but with the quiet weight of every word never spoken, every echo pressed flat before it could rise up and break the silence in two. You close your eyes now, listening for that breath. It moves through the moss, down the roots, into the earth that remembers the shape of each stone before it was lifted from the fields and placed here to hold the hush. Your boots rest easy in the grass, soles damp with dew, laces soft where the mist clings to them, like a lullaby you can feel on your skin. Even your hands feel heavier now, palms sinking into the moss, as if they've always belonged here, folded into the hush, where they don't need to carry anything more than this moment. Somewhere along the length of the wall, you imagine another hollow, a secret pocket between stones where the hush gathers thickest, waiting for dreams to drift in and settle down like roots, pressing deeper into the dark. You picture a single scrap of parchment tucked there, edges soft, words faded so far they barely exist, a wish left behind by someone who once sat where you sit now, breathing their secrets into the hush so it could hold them when they were too tired to keep them close. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts slip softer, drifting behind your eyes, folding into the hush that hums through your ribs, your chest, the warm shadow pressed between your shoulders and the stone. This is your gap tonight. Another small hollow in this timeless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the parchment stay hidden where it belongs. Let the mist drift across the fields without you. And let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the strongest dreams bloom where you choose to hold nothing at all. Stay tucked near the narrow gap a while longer. Feel how the hush drifts around your shoulders, curling under your breath, pressing each thought softer until it folds into the moss like dew melting into roots that never need to hurry. Your palm rests on the stone, tracing tiny lines where lichen threads itself between cracks that hold the hush steady, year after year, through storms and sun and all the quiet hours in between. Above you, the wall feels taller now, its top lost somewhere in the mist that drifts down from the hills, carrying no footsteps, no voices, only the hush that hums through the stones, through your chest, through the small hollow where your heartbeat waits to drift deeper. You shift slightly, shoulders pressing firmer into the wall's warmth. Each exhale slides out slow, wrapping around the cold stone, slipping between roots that remember every other dream that paused here to rest. Somewhere further along the wall, you imagine the builders resting their own backs against these same blocks, eyes closed, hands rough with work, breath drifting out in soft clouds that never rose louder than the hush they built to keep. They say they never needed plans drawn in ink, only the weight of each stone in their palms, the shape of the hush pressing against their ribs when they lifted one block onto the next. Each stone settled into place with the promise that silence would live here long after they were gone. You lean forward, forehead brushing the moss. It hums under your skin, a quiet lullaby pressed deep into the green, deeper into the crack behind it, deeper still where the hush keeps secrets wrapped tight so they never need to wake. Your boots rest in the damp grass, soles chilled by dew, but you don't feel the cold now. The hush folds itself around your ankles, your calves, your knees bent close, like roots curling toward the warmth below. Above, the mist shifts, opening just enough for a thin thread of moonlight to slip through. It catches the top of the wall, tracing soft lines along the stones, silver glinting where droplets gather and drift down the rough surface like wishes never spoken aloud. Somewhere in the hush, you sense your thoughts softening at the edges, tiny echoes of words you don't need tonight, drifting behind your eyes, pressing into the wall's old hush so they don't have to follow you into sleep. And you, here tonight, feel your breath settle slow, each inhale folding deeper, each exhale drifting out just enough to carry away the weight you don't have to hold anymore. This is your hollow tonight, another gentle resting place in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the moss keep its secrets, let the mist curl around the stones above you, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the hush is strongest when you're ready to drift, where it knows how to keep you safe. Stay curled beside the narrow gap a little longer. Feel how the hush hums steady through the stone at your back, pressing the weight of your thoughts into the cracks and roots that know exactly how to carry them where they need to rest. Your head leans gently against the moss, its threads cool and soft beneath your cheek, a quiet cushion stitched together by the hush itself. Holding your breath steady when the world outside feels too wide to hold alone. You let your hand drift along the wall's edge, fingertips brushing small ridges carved by rain and time. Each groove a reminder that this silence was never built to stand unmarked, but to gather every moment too soft to speak. Beyond the top of the wall, the mist drifts close again. Moonlight bends through its folds, painting thin veins of silver across the moss, the stones, the hollow you found here at the end of your long wandering thoughts. Somewhere deeper inside the wall, you sense roots pressing slow and patient, curling around each other, wrapping the hush tighter with every year that passes. They hum so low you can feel them behind your ribs, a lullaby that needs no words to remind you how small you can be when you trust the hush to carry you. They say if you press your ear to the wall at night, you can hear the hush telling the same story again and again. Stone to moss, moss to root, root to earth, all of it folding your breath into a silence older than any footstep that ever paused here. You shift your boots in the grass, soles brushing against tiny flowers that open only under moonlight. Petals shiver when the hush drifts over them, catching each drop of mist before it slips into the soil. Your eyes slip half closed now. Through the slow dark behind your lids, you see the wall stretching on, no beginning, no end, just a line of stone holding the hush steady between two worlds that forgot how to talk to each other long ago. But here, tonight, there is no divide for you. Only this side, your side, where the hush gathers close around your shoulders, your breath, your heartbeat that slows each time the moss hums against your skin. You imagine another hollow a few stones down, wide enough for one more dream to slip inside, to rest with the scraps of paper tucked deep behind the moss, wishes that never needed to find a voice. And you here tonight feel your thoughts drift toward that hollow too, each one soft as mist, small as the hush, folded deeper than the stones ever need to know. This is your hollow tonight, another hidden pocket in this quiet, timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the roots carry your thoughts deeper. Let the flowers hold the mist where it lands. And let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the silence that keeps you safe is the same one that lets your dreams drift as far as they wish. Stay resting near the moss-covered stones for a while longer. Feel how the hush presses softly around you, folding every breath into the cracks and roots that hold this ancient wall steady through the quiet centuries. Your eyes grow heavy as the mist drifts low around the stones, curling through the fields like a gentle river flowing without sound or hurry. You trace the rough edges of the wall one last time, fingertips pressing into the moss that cushions your touch, each thread humming a soft lullaby that wraps around your ribs and settles your heartbeat into a steady, slow rhythm. Some say the wall holds the memories of all who ever stood beside it. Whispers pressed into the stone, dreams folded into the moss, secrets tucked deep into the roots that wind beneath. You lean your head back against the cool stone, feeling the hush hum through your skin, pressing every thought deeper into the quiet that lives here beyond words. The moon slips behind clouds, soft shadows stretching long across the fields. The silence folds itself around the night like a blanket, wrapping the wall and the earth and you in a hush that promises rest. Somewhere in the distance, a nightbird calls once, a sound so soft it feels like the hush given voice for a moment before fading back into the quiet. And you here tonight, feel your breath slow and deepen, every exhale folding into the hush that has held this place through ages, steady as stone, patient as time. This is your rest tonight, the final quiet place in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence carry you deeper, let the moss keep your dreams safe, and let the ancient wall that divided silence remind you. Sometimes the strongest walls are the ones built to hold only hush, and sometimes that hush is all you need to find your way home. Sleep well, sleep deep, and when you wake, may the hush follow you, steady as stone, gentle as the moss, soft as the silence that lives forever in these ancient walls. Sometimes, the weight of the day lingers longer than we expect. Maybe your mind races through moments you wish you could forget, or dreams that feel just out of reach. If you're still awake, that's okay. Let your body rest now, heavy and warm beneath your blankets. Let your eyes close softly, as if they're folding in on themselves, and let me take you far away, to a place where kings once ruled and thrones stand empty, holding only the hush of history. Imagine a vast hall once alive with voices. The echo of footsteps on stone floors, the murmur of courtiers gathered beneath towering arches. Now only silence reigns here, thick and patient, folding itself into the empty thrones where kings once sat. The walls rise high, draped with tattered banners faded by time, their colors muted to whispers of gold and crimson. Light filters softly through stained glass windows, casting fractured patterns across cold marble, painting the floor in gentle hues that fade into shadow. You step cautiously across the hall, your boots muffled by ancient rugs worn thin by centuries of use. Each step presses a quiet echo into the hush that clings to every surface, holding the weight of histories told and forgotten. The thrones stand proud still, carved from dark wood and stone, their intricate details worn smooth by hands long gone, empty seats waiting silently, not for new rulers, but for stories folded deep into the grain, secrets pressed into every curve and crest. Some say these thrones hold the breath of kings past, their hopes and regrets lingering in the silence like ghosts that never quite fade. They say the halls remember every whispered command, every silent vow, every secret glance exchanged beneath chandeliers now dimmed and still. You move closer to the largest throne, its back towering like a shadow against the far wall. Your hand brushes the worn armrest, feeling the cold smoothness of stone touched by centuries of power and silence. Around you, the hall hums softly, not with voices, but with the hush of time folding over itself, pressing every moment flat until only the quiet remains. And you, here tonight, feel your breath slow to match the hush, every heartbeat folding into the stillness that fills this empty hall. This is your throne tonight, a quiet place in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the shadows lean close to listen, let the silence settle like dust over every forgotten crown, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you, sometimes the greatest power lies in the stillness left behind. Stay standing near the largest throne, feeling the cool stone beneath your fingertips. The silence here is thick, a heavy cloak woven from centuries of forgotten crowns and whispered promises. The air tastes faintly of dust and aged wood, carrying with it the weight of history that has settled into every crack and crevice of this vast hall. You breathe slowly, letting the hush fold around your lungs, soft and patient as the shadows stretching across the floor. Behind you, rows of smaller thrones lean in silent watch, their carved arms worn smooth by hands that have long since vanished. Each seat holds a story folded deep into the grain, tales of kings and queens, battles won and lost, and secrets sealed beneath heavy tapestries. You step softly forward, boots pressing quietly on the worn rugs that have absorbed the footsteps of countless courtiers and kings. The patterns underfoot blur under the dim light, colors faded to gentle whispers that beckon you to rest. Near the throne's base, you find a small carved emblem, a faded lion, its mane curling softly like smoke frozen in stone. You trace its outline with your fingers, feeling the patience etched into every line, every curve, as if the stone itself remembers the strength that once ruled here. Some say the lion guards not just the throne, but the silence that follows power, a quiet so deep that even the loudest voices must bow before it. You take a breath, slow and deep, letting the silence settle in your chest like a steady pulse beneath your ribs. The throne's shadow stretches long across the marble, a soft darkness that holds you gently as the world outside fades further away. And you here tonight feel the hush cradle your thoughts, slow, steady, folded into the empty halls where kings once dreamed. This is your shadow tonight, a quiet place in this patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the lion keep its watch. Let the silence press soft against your skin, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you, sometimes the deepest strength is found not in power, but in the stillness that remains after. Step softly away from the great throne, letting your footsteps whisper against the worn marble floor. The silence here folds itself around your breath, pressing every footfall into the hush like a secret too gentle to carry. The walls rise tall and solemn, draped with faded tapestries that flutter ever so slightly, as if breathing under the weight of forgotten stories. Their colors are muted now. Deep reds turn to dusty rose, gold threads dulled to the softest shimmer, but they still hold the echo of past glories in their folds. You trace your fingers along the edge of a tapestry, feeling the rough fabric worn thin by time, each thread a quiet witness to the kings and queens who once ruled beneath this vaulted ceiling. A lone candle flickers in a distant sconce, its flame bending low as if bowing to the silence that reigns. The shadows dance softly on the walls, stretching long fingers across the stones that have kept their secrets for centuries. You pause near a carved doorway, the wood worn smooth by countless hands that pass through, each one carrying a whisper or a prayer that has now dissolved into the hush. Some say these halls are haunted not by ghosts, but by memories, silent echoes of power, loss, and quiet resignation that linger long after the crowns have fallen. You lean your palm against the cool stone pillar nearby, feeling the steady pulse of history that hums beneath your skin, a slow, patient rhythm that matches the hush settling in your chest. Beyond the doorway, you glimpse a dim corridor that stretches into shadow, its end lost in the silence where no footsteps dare to follow. You take a slow breath, letting the hush wrap around your thoughts, softening each one until they drift like dust motes in the fading light. And you, here tonight, feel the quiet settle deep, a patient, endless, boring history that holds you gently as you slip further into sleep. This is your quiet tonight, a gentle space in this vast, still hall where the empty thrones watch over dreams. So breathe slow, let the shadows stretch wide, let the silence cradle your breath, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you. Sometimes the deepest reign is the one held in stillness. Step slowly through the carved doorway, feeling the cool air shift as you move deeper into the hall. The silence thickens here, folding around the stone arches and high ceilings like a soft blanket laid carefully to hush every sound. Above, the chandeliers hang heavy and still, crystal droplets catching the faintest gleam of moonlight filtering through narrow windows. Their sparkle has dulled over centuries, but they still hold a quiet dignity, as if bowing to the weight of every moment passed beneath their glow. Your boots make no sound on the polished floor, the hush absorbing each step like a whispered secret. You follow the corridor's curve, watching how the shadows pool deep in the corners, softening the edges of the ancient tapestries that line the walls. Some say these tapestries tell stories that no words could capture. Battles waged in silence, crowns laid down without ceremony, kings and queens who ruled in shadows long before their names faded into dust. You pause beneath a tapestry depicting a lone crown resting on a velvet cushion, its jewels glinting faintly even as the fabric frays around its edges. The hush seems to press closer here, a soft weight settling into your chest, as if the very air holds a secret too fragile to speak. Beyond the tapestry, a narrow stairway winds upward into darkness. No light escapes from above. Only the hush lingers, drifting down the steps like a slow breath you can almost follow but never quite reach. You lean your hand against the cold stone wall, feeling the rough texture beneath your fingers. The steady pulse of history, patient and unyielding, holding space for all the stories never told. As you stand there, the silence wraps around you. A gentle embrace that asks nothing, demands no answer, and holds you steady as the world outside fades into a distant memory. And you here tonight, feel your breath grow slow and steady, every exhale folding deeper into the hush that fills this hall, cradling you gently as you drift toward sleep. This is your hall tonight, a quiet sanctuary in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the shadows fall soft, let the hush carry your thoughts. And let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you, sometimes the greatest power is the peace you find when all else fades away. Continue along the shadowed corridor, your footsteps hushed beneath the weight of centuries that linger in every stone. The walls press close, their surface worn smooth by time and silence, holding every secret that has slipped between the cracks like forgotten whispers. Faded portraits hang along the passage, faces blurred and softened by age. Kings and queens whose eyes once held fire, now resting beneath layers of dust and quiet. Their gazes seem to follow you, not with judgment, but with the patient understanding of those who have long surrendered to the hush. You pause beneath one painting, its frame chipped and weathered, the colors muted but still hinting at the grandeur that once was. A crown, barely visible, rests atop the head of a figure draped in robes that shimmer faintly, catching the low light like a distant memory. The silence here is deep, settling into your bones as you breathe slow, each inhale drawing in the stillness that wraps around your shoulders like a velvet cloak. You feel the hush press gentle against your skin, soothing the weight of thoughts you carried into this hall. Some say these halls were built not just of stone and wood, but of the quiet resolve of those who ruled. Strength measured not in voices raised, but in the calm that follows the storm. You move onward, the corridor curving toward a grand chamber where the largest throne once stood, now empty, its presence marked only by the faintest impression in the marble floor. Light filters through a high window, casting a soft glow that dances on the walls like a slow breath, a silent song sung by the hush itself. And you, here tonight, feel your heartbeat slow to match the rhythm of this quiet place, every pulse folded gently into the stillness that fills the empty halls. This is your chamber tonight, a gentle space in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the portraits watch softly, let the silence wrap you close, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you, sometimes the greatest power is the peace that lives in the quiet moments after the crown has fallen. Remain standing in the grand chamber, feeling the quiet press gently against your skin. The vastness of the hall wraps around you like a soft cloak, the echoes of forgotten footsteps fading into the hush that holds this space still and patient. The air is cool, carrying a faint scent of aged stone and distant fires long extinguished. Your breath drifts slow, mingling with the silence that hums through the arches and settles deep into the marble beneath your feet. Around you, the empty seats stand in solemn rows, carved with intricate patterns, their surfaces worn smooth by the passage of hands that once held power and now rest only in memory. You trace the edge of a nearby chair with your fingertips, feeling the quiet strength pressed into the grain, a testament to the patience of time and the hush that outlasts all reigns. Some say these thrones were not just seats of kings, but keepers of stories, silent witnesses to moments of triumph and loss, whispers and prayers folded into the wood like fragile secrets. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the hush fill your mind with soft images. A crown placed gently on a head, a hand resting steady on an armrest, a gaze lost in the quiet after a long day's rule. The chamber seems to breathe with you, the silence pulsing slow and steady, pressing every thought into a calm deeper than any power ever held. You open your eyes, looking upward to the towering ceiling where frescoes have faded into shadow, colors dimmed but still holding the echo of grandeur that once filled these halls. And you here tonight feel your heartbeat slow to match the rhythm of this quiet sanctuary, every pulse folding gently into the hush that holds you safe as sleep draws near. This is your sanctuary tonight, a place of stillness in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the echoes fade softly, let the hush carry your dreams, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you. Sometimes the greatest legacy is the peace that comes when all else falls away. Stay standing quietly in the chamber, letting the hush wrap around you like a soft blanket. The vast room holds its breath, the silence deep and patient as it presses gently against the marble floor and the empty seats that watch without need for eyes. The faint scent of old wood and stone lingers, mingling with the cool air that drifts through tall windows, carrying whispers from times long past. Your breath slows, each inhale folding into the quiet, each exhale dissolving into the shadows that gather in the corners. The walls seem to remember. Every carved detail, every faded fresco, tells a story of power held and relinquished, of thrones filled and abandoned. You reach out, fingertips brushing the cold surface of a stone pillar, feeling the steady pulse of history vibrating beneath your skin. Some say that when the night is still enough, the chamber hums softly, a song of kings and queens who ruled in silence, whose legacies live on not in words, but in the hush that fills this space. You close your eyes, imagining the soft glow of candlelight flickering against the high ceilings, the gentle rustle of silk robes and quiet footsteps passing through endless corridors. These sounds blend into the hush, becoming part of the silence that waits patiently for those who seek rest here. A single beam of moonlight catches the edge of a throne, casting a gentle silver glow that dances across the empty seat like a tender caress. You feel the hush press closer, folding around your shoulders and settling deep within your chest. And you here tonight feel your heartbeat slow, each beat syncing with the quiet rhythm of this ancient place, steady, calm, ready to carry you into sleep. This is your chamber tonight, a sanctuary of silence in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the shadows hold you softly, let the silence guide your dreams, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you. Sometimes the greatest power lies in letting go and resting in the hush. Remain still in the soft glow of moonlight filtering through the stained glass. The colors dance faintly on the marble floor, painting delicate patterns that shift with every slow breath you take. The silence deepens here, wrapping around you like a gentle embrace, holding every thought so softly you almost forget they were ever there. Your heart beats in quiet rhythm with the hush that fills this grand chamber, steady and patient as the stars beyond the high windows. You imagine the voices that once filled this space, hushed counsels, whispered decisions, quiet prayers said beneath vaulted ceilings that now cradle only silence, each echo folded into the walls, pressed beneath the stones, carried away by the hush that knows no hurry. Your fingers trace a line along the edge of a carved armrest, feeling the smoothness worn by centuries of touch, hands that once grasped for power, now resting silently in the stillness. The wood hums beneath your skin, a soft reminder that strength can live quietly, without noise or show. You close your eyes, letting the hush wash over you like a tide pulling you gently toward rest. The faint scent of old wood and cool stone lingers, mingling with the soft breath of night that slips through the open arches. Somewhere distant, the faintest sound of a nightbird calls, a single note folded into the silence, carrying with it a promise of peace that settles deep into your bones. And you here tonight, feel your breath slow, each inhale and exhale a soft wave folding into the quiet around you. The empty thrones watch in silence, their presence a quiet testament to the power held in stillness. This is your place tonight, a haven of hush in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the moonlight cradle you softly, let the silence carry your dreams, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you. Sometimes the greatest reign is the one held quietly within. Stay settled in the stillness of the chamber, letting the hush surround you like a gentle tide. The silence breathes softly through the arches, wrapping every corner in calm that presses light against your skin. You feel your heartbeat slow, matching the steady rhythm of the empty hall, each pulse folding deeper into the quiet that lives between the worn stone and faded tapestries. The air holds the faint scent of ancient wood and lingering fires, mingling with the cool breath of night drifting through narrow windows. Soft shadows stretch long, folding themselves around the empty thrones as if guarding memories that never need to be spoken aloud. You imagine the stories these walls could tell, whispered promises and silent farewells, moments of triumph and quiet despair folded into every curve and crest, carved by hands now gone. Your fingertips brush the edge of a throne's armrest, feeling the smoothness carved by time and touch. The wood hums softly beneath your skin, a quiet reminder that even in absence, power lingers in the hush. A faint draft stirs the corner of a tapestry, its fabric shifting gently like a breath held and released. The colors blur into shadows, folding into the silence that holds this chamber steady through centuries of stillness. And you, here tonight, feel the hush deepen around you, pressing every thought softer, folding your breath into the patient quiet of these empty thrones. This is your refuge tonight, a place of calm in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the shadows fall softly, let the silence cradle your dreams, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you, sometimes the greatest strength lies in the peace you find when all else fades away. Stay resting in the quiet heart of the chamber, feeling the hush wrap softly around you like a velvet cloak. Each breath folds deeper into the silence, pressing gently against the worn stone and faded tapestries that have held countless stories over the centuries. The moonlight spills through the high windows, casting gentle patterns of silver across the marble floor, illuminating the empty thrones with a soft glow that seems to pulse with the memory of kings long gone. You lean your head back against a cold pillar, letting the weight of history press gently into your skin. The silence here is not empty. It's full of quiet strength, patience, and the gentle hum of time flowing slowly, steadily, like the last breath before sleep. Somewhere distant, a nightbird calls softly, its voice folding into the hush like a lullaby sung just for you. The sound drifts through the chamber, weaving between shadows and light, settling deep into your chest, where your heartbeat has grown slow and steady. You close your eyes, letting the silence carry you further from the waking world, every thought folding into the hush until only the softest stillness remains. And you, here tonight, feel your breath slow, your mind drift, your body sink into the quiet sanctuary these empty thrones have kept through the ages. This is your rest tonight, the final quiet place in this patient, endless boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence hold you gently, let the moonlight guide your dreams, and let the empty thrones of fallen kings remind you, sometimes the greatest reign is found in the peaceful silence that remains long after the crowns have fallen. Sleep well, sleep deep, and when you wake, may the hush follow you, steady as stone, gentle as the night, soft as the quiet that holds you now. Sometimes the night feels endless, like a well with no bottom, deep, dark, and mysterious. If your mind wanders to places too vast to hold, or if your breath grows heavy beneath the weight of silence, know that here, you are safe. Let your body sink into the stillness, soft and steady. Close your eyes gently, and let me take you down, slowly, deeper into a story that whispers through the quiet. The well with no bottom. Imagine a well standing alone in the middle of a quiet field, its stones weathered and worn, rising in a circle that seems to disappear into the earth itself. The air around it feels still, as if holding its breath, waiting for something unseen to stir beneath the surface. The grass grows tall around the well's edge, brushing softly against the stones, carrying whispers of forgotten waters that once filled its depths. You step closer, feeling the cool stone beneath your fingertips, the hush pressing gently against your skin like a secret waiting to be told. Peering down into the well, the darkness seems endless, a black void swallowing the light, folding thoughts upon silence until even your own breath feels distant and small. Some say the well has no bottom, that it stretches beyond the reach of sight and sound, holding mysteries no one dares to explore. You lean closer, letting your breath drift over the edge, feeling the cool air rising from the depths, wrapping around you like a soft cloak of hush. The silence here hums steady, patient as the earth itself, holding every secret close in the dark. Beyond the well, the field stretches wide and empty, the horizon melting into a pale sky where stars begin to blink softly, one by one. The night wraps around the well like a gentle tide, pressing every sound flat until only the hush remains. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts slip slow and steady, folding into the silence that holds the well, deep as dreams that drift beyond the edge of sleep. This is your well tonight, a quiet place in this endless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the darkness hold you softly. Let the hush carry your breath. And let the well with no bottom remind you. Sometimes the deepest mysteries live in the quietest places. Stay near the well's edge, feeling the cool stone press softly against your palm. The hush hums low here, a steady vibration carried up from the depths, pressing gentle weight into your bones as if the earth itself breathes beneath the surface. The darkness inside seems to pulse, folding in on itself like layers of quiet, stretching far beyond the reach of light or sound. You imagine the water still there, deep and unseen, holding its secrets like a slow heartbeat beneath the earth. The grass sways softly around your feet, brushing whispers into the stones, weaving together the stories of countless nights spent waiting beside this quiet well. Each blade hums with the hush, pressing every breath into the cool air that drifts up from the darkness below. You lean forward again, breath mingling with the stillness, feeling how the silence gathers like a tide, folding every thought into the endless depths that never quite reveal their end. Some say the well is a doorway, a place where time folds and the world slips away, leaving only the hush to hold what no eyes can see. Beyond the field, stars blink faintly, scattered like distant echoes across the night sky. Their light stretches soft and slow, touching the earth with a gentle glow that folds into the hush, carrying you further from the waking world. And you here tonight, feel your breath slow, your thoughts folding gently into the silence that holds this well, deep as dreams that drift far beyond the edge of sleep. This is your quiet tonight, a patient space in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the darkness hold you close. Let the hush carry your dreams deeper. And let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the greatest mysteries are found not in what lies beneath, but in the stillness that surrounds. Stay near the well's edge a little longer. Feel the hush deepen, wrapping around your shoulders like a soft, cool cloak, pressing every breath into the quiet that hums beneath the stones. Your fingertips trace the rough edges of the weathered stones, each groove worn smooth by time, and countless hands that once reached down into the dark. The moss clings softly here, its green threads weaving a quiet blanket over the well's ancient face. You lean your head back, eyes half closed, letting the silence settle deep inside your chest. It feels like a slow river flowing beneath your ribs, carrying away the weight of thoughts too heavy for the waking world. The night sky stretches wide above, stars shimmering faintly through a veil of mist that drifts low across the fields. Their soft light flickers like distant whispers, folding gently into the hush that holds you close. Some say the well is endless, a bottomless place where time loses meaning and dreams drift without boundaries. They say those who listen closely can hear the quiet pulse of the earth itself, beating slow and steady beneath the dark. You breathe slow, matching the rhythm of that quiet heartbeat, each inhale folding deeper into the stillness, each exhale drifting farther away from the day. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts dissolve into the hush, patient, endless, gentle, like the silent depths of the well with no bottom itself. This is your stillness tonight, a soft refuge in this timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the silence carry you deeper. Let the hush hold you safe. And let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the quietest places hold the deepest mysteries. Remain near the well's edge, feeling the cool stone press softly against your palm. The hush hums low here, a steady vibration carried up from the depths, pressing gentle weight into your bones as if the earth itself breathes beneath the surface. The darkness inside seems to pulse, folding in on itself like layers of quiet, stretching far beyond the reach of light or sound. You imagine the water still there, deep and unseen, holding its secrets like a slow heartbeat beneath the earth. The grass sways softly around your feet, brushing whispers into the stones, weaving together the stories of countless nights spent waiting beside this quiet well. Each blade hums with the hush, pressing every breath into the cool air that drifts up from the darkness below. You lean forward again, breath mingling with the stillness, feeling how the silence gathers like a tide, folding every thought into the endless depths that never quite reveal their end. Some say the well is a doorway, a place where time folds and the world slips away, leaving only the hush to hold what no eyes can see. Beyond the field, stars blink faintly, scattered like distant echoes across the night sky. Their light stretches soft and slow, touching the earth with a gentle glow that folds into the hush, carrying you further from the waking world. And you, here tonight, feel your breath slow, your thoughts folding gently into the silence that holds this well, deep as dreams that drift far beyond the edge of sleep. This is your quiet tonight, a patient space in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the darkness hold you close, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the well with no bottom remind you sometimes the greatest mysteries are found not in what lies beneath, but in the stillness that surrounds. Stay by the well a moment longer, feeling the cool stone cradle your palm. The hush flows like a gentle current, carrying every breath deeper into the silence that wraps the well like an endless embrace. The darkness inside seems to breathe, slow and steady, folding itself into shadows that hold the memories of countless nights spent watching stars blink softly above. You imagine the water far below, still and deep, reflecting a world untouched by time or sound. It is a place where secrets rest, folded beneath the surface like delicate petals waiting for the right moment to unfold. The grass sways with the whisper of night wind, brushing lightly against your boots, as if to remind you the world outside keeps turning even as the hush holds this place still. You lean closer once more, letting your breath mingle with the cool air rising from the depths. The silence presses softly against your skin, a gentle reminder that some mysteries are meant to be kept, not solved. Stars flicker above, distant and slow, their light weaving through the night like threads of a forgotten tapestry. They guide your thoughts away from worries, folding them into the hush where they can rest easy, far from the noise of waking hours. And you here tonight feel your breath deepen and slow, every inhale and exhale a soft wave that carries you further from the day and closer to dreams waiting patiently at the edge of sleep. This is your stillness tonight, a quiet refuge in this timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the darkness hold you safe, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the deepest peace is found in the silence that holds all things gently. Stay resting near the well's edge, feeling the cool stone steady beneath your palm. The hush wraps around you like a gentle tide, pressing every breath deeper into the silence that cradles the well's endless depths. The darkness inside seems to pulse softly, a slow heartbeat folded into layers of quiet, stretching beyond the reach of light or sound. You imagine the water still there, deep and unseen, holding secrets too delicate for words. Grass sways gently at your feet, brushing whispers into the stones, weaving the stories of countless nights spent beside this quiet well. Each blade hums with the hush, pressing every sigh into the cool air rising from the depths below. You lean in again, breath mingling with the stillness, feeling the silence gather like a soft tide, folding every thought into the endless dark that never reveals its end. Some say this well is a gateway, a place where time folds and the world slips away, leaving only the hush to hold what eyes cannot see. Above, stars blink faintly, scattered like distant echoes across the night sky. Their soft light flows slowly, touching the earth with a glow that folds into the hush, carrying you far from the waking world. And you here tonight, feel your breath slow, your thoughts folding gently into the silence that holds this well, deep as dreams that drift beyond the edge of sleep. This is your stillness tonight, a patient refuge in this endless, gentle, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the darkness hold you close. Let the hush carry your dreams deeper. And let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the greatest mysteries lie not beneath, but in the silence that surrounds. Stay near the well's edge, feeling the hush wrap around you like a soft, cool cloak. Every breath drifts deeper into the silence that holds this place, steady, patient, endless. Your fingertips trace the rough stone, worn smooth by time, and countless hands that reach down into the dark. Moss clings softly, weaving a quiet blanket that holds the well's ancient face. You lean back, eyes closed gently, letting the silence settle deep inside your chest. It feels like a slow river flowing beneath your ribs, carrying away the weight of thoughts too heavy for the waking world. The night sky stretches wide above, stars shimmering faintly through a veil of mist drifting low across the fields. Their soft light flickers like distant whispers, folding gently into the hush that holds you close. Some say the well is endless, a bottomless place where time loses meaning and dreams drift without boundaries. They say if you listen closely, you can hear the earth's quiet heartbeat beneath the dark. You breathe slow, matching the rhythm of that quiet pulse, each inhale folding deeper into the stillness, each exhale drifting farther from the day. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts dissolve into the hush, patient, endless, gentle, like the silent depths of the well with no bottom itself. This is your stillness tonight, a soft refuge in this timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence carry you deeper, let the hush hold you safe, and let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the quietest places hold the deepest mysteries. Stay nestled close to the well, feeling the hush wrap gently around your shoulders like a soft blanket. Each breath flows deeper into the quiet, folding your thoughts into the stillness that hums beneath the ancient stones. Your fingers brush softly over the moss-covered surface, feeling the cool texture beneath your skin. The green threads weave a silent tapestry that holds stories older than time itself, whispering secrets to the night. You lean your head back against the stone, eyes closing softly, as the silence settles deeper into your chest. It feels like a slow, steady river flowing beneath your ribs, carrying away the weight of worries and restless thoughts. Above, the stars flicker faintly through a thin veil of mist, their gentle light touching the earth with a soothing glow. The night breathes softly, cradling the well and all who come near in its patient embrace. Some say the well is a gateway to endless dreams, a place where time folds back on itself and the world slips away into quiet eternity. They say the hush here sings a lullaby, older than any voice, guiding you gently toward rest. You breathe slow, matching the rhythm of the hush, each inhale drawing you deeper into calm, each exhale releasing you further from the day. And you here tonight feel your breath and thoughts dissolve into the silence, patient, endless, gentle, like the depths of the well with no bottom itself. This is your refuge tonight, a peaceful harbor in this timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence hold you close, let the hush carry your dreams softly, and let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the deepest peace is found in the quietest places. Stay quietly by the well's edge, feeling the hush settle around you like a gentle tide. Every breath folds deeper into the silence, pressing soft weight into the stones and the moss that cradle the well's ancient heart. Your fingertips glide over the weathered surface, tracing the worn paths carved by time, and countless stories told in whispers. The moss cushions your touch, a quiet blanket woven by nature's patient hand. You lean your head back against the cool stone, eyes closing slowly as the hush fills your chest with calm. It is a rhythm slow and steady, a heartbeat shared with the earth beneath, steady as the flow of dreams drifting beyond waking. Above, stars shimmer faintly through a veil of mist, their soft light folding gently into the night's embrace. The air hums with quiet secrets, stories that linger just out of reach, waiting to be carried softly into sleep. Some say the well is a place where time unwinds, a bottomless hollow where the world slips away, and all that remains is the hush. They say those who listen closely can hear the earth's quiet song, a lullaby older than words. You breathe deep, matching the hush's gentle pulse, each inhale carrying you further into rest, each exhale releasing the weight of the day. And you here tonight feel your thoughts dissolve into the silence, endless, patient, gentle, like the quiet depths of the well with no bottom itself. This is your refuge tonight, a soft harbor in this timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence hold you gently, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the well with no bottom remind you. Sometimes the quietest places hold the deepest mysteries. Stay resting quietly by the well's edge, feeling the hush wrap around you like a soft embrace. Each breath folds deeper into the silence, pressing gently against the stones and moss that cradle the well's endless depths. The darkness inside seems to pulse softly, a slow heartbeat folded into layers of quiet that stretch far beyond the reach of light or sound. You imagine the water still there, deep and unseen, holding secrets too delicate for words. The night sky stretches wide above, stars shimmering faintly through a veil of mist that drifts low across the fields. Their soft light folds gently into the hush, carrying you far from the waking world, into dreams that flow like slow rivers beneath the surface. You lean your head back against the cool stone, feeling the hush hum through your skin, pressing every thought deeper into the quiet that lives here beyond words. Somewhere distant, a nightbird calls softly, its voice folding into the hush like a lullaby sung just for you. The sound drifts through the air, weaving between shadows and light, settling deep into your chest where your heartbeat has grown slow and steady. You close your eyes, letting the silence carry you farther from the waking world, every thought folding into the hush until only the softest stillness remains. And you here tonight feel your breath slow, your mind drift, your body sink into the quiet sanctuary this well has kept through the ages. This is your rest tonight, the final quiet place in this patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence hold you gently, let the hush guide your dreams, and let the well with no bottom remind you, sometimes the deepest peace is found in the quietest places. Sleep well, sleep deep, and when you wake, may the hush follow you, steady as stone, gentle as the night, soft as the silence that holds you now. Have you ever felt lost in a silent forest, where every sound slowly fades away, leaving only the breath of the earth and sky, and the rhythm of your own breathing? If you're listening to me now, and your soul still feels unsettled, let your body relax and place yourself in a peaceful, gentle space. Close your eyes slowly and let me guide you deep into the forest where once bustling villages now exist only as shadows within the mist. The forest where villages disappeared. Imagine a vast forest stretching far beyond the horizon, its trees rising tall and thick, their leaves whispering secrets in the soft breeze. The canopy filters sunlight into gentle patterns that dance slowly across the moss-covered ground, where shadows move softly among the roots. Long ago, this forest was home to many villages, small clusters of homes woven into the earth, where the hum of daily life mingled with the songs of birds and the rustle of leaves. But over time, those villages vanished, swallowed quietly by the ever-growing trees and the hush that settled like a blanket over the land. You walk slowly along a narrow path, your footsteps muffled by layers of fallen leaves and soft earth. The air smells rich with pine and damp soil, carrying the gentle scent of rain that once nourished this forgotten place. Here and there, you glimpse traces of what once was, the crumbled stones of a hearth, the faint outline of a well long dried up, and the scattered remnants of worn pottery, half buried beneath moss and fern. The forest holds its secrets close, folding every story into the hush that hums beneath your feet, pressing every breath into the earth as you move deeper into the silent woods. Beyond the trees, the sky fades to a soft gray, the light dimming slowly as clouds gather overhead, wrapping the forest in a gentle twilight. And you here tonight feel your thoughts slow and settle, folding softly into the quiet that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your forest tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the leaves whisper softly, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes even the loudest lives fade quietly into the calm. Stay walking softly beneath the towering trees, feeling the gentle hush press against your skin like a familiar embrace. The air here is cool and thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth, wrapping around you as the forest holds its breath in patient silence. You notice the way the light fades gently through the leaves, casting shifting shadows that move like whispers on the forest floor. every step you take is muffled by moss and fallen leaves, as if the earth itself is cushioning your passage through this forgotten realm. Here, the remnants of the villages linger quietly, moss-covered stones that once formed sturdy walls, roots entwining with ancient bricks, as if nature itself has slowly reclaimed these places. You imagine the lives once lived here, children's laughter fading into the rustling trees, the warmth of fires now cold beneath layers of earth and time. The forest hums softly, the sound blending with your steady breath as you move deeper into its calm embrace. Every leaf seems to listen, every branch holds a secret, and the quiet settles like a gentle tide, pressing your thoughts into slow, soft waves. Above, the sky grows dimmer, the pale light folding into shadows that stretch long and still across the tangled undergrowth. You feel yourself drifting with the dusk, your heartbeat slowing to match the patient rhythm of the woods. And you here tonight feel your mind settle, folding gently into the hush that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your quiet tonight, a soft, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the forest hold you softly, let the hush carry your dreams deeper. And let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes the quietest places keep the deepest memories. Keep moving slowly through the forest's gentle shadows, feeling the soft earth yield beneath your steps. The hush here is deeper, folding around your breath like a calm sea, carrying you further away from the waking world. You notice the way the trees lean closer, their branches weaving a quiet canopy that filters the fading light into dappled patterns on the mossy floor. The air is thick with the scent of pine resin and damp wood, a scent that lingers like a memory whispered by the wind. Among the roots and fallen leaves, you spot broken shards of pottery, worn smooth by time and covered in a gentle layer of moss. They tell silent stories, remnants of hands that shaped them, of meals shared beneath these towering trees, of lives intertwined with the land. The forest listens as you breathe, every rustle of leaves and distant call of an owl woven into the quiet song that hums beneath the surface. It's a lullaby sung in shadows and sighs, pressing your thoughts into slow ripples that spread softly through your mind. Above, the sky dims into twilight, stars beginning to blink faintly through the canopy's gentle weave. The forest hush deepens, pressing gently against your skin, a soft reminder that even in stillness, life moves quietly forward. And you here tonight feel your thoughts settle, folding gently into the hush that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your peace tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the forest hold you gently, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the forest where villages disappeared remind you. Sometimes, the softest whispers tell the strongest stories. Slow your steps as you move deeper into the forest's embrace, feeling the cool shade soften the air around you. The hush here is thick and patient, pressing softly against every leaf and stone, folding your breath into the gentle rhythm of the woods. Sunlight filters weakly through the dense canopy, casting mottled patterns that shift slowly across the mossy floor. The scent of pine and damp earth grows stronger, mingling with the faint aroma of wildflowers hidden among the ferns. Along the path, you find the remains of an old wooden fence, its timbers cracked and covered in creeping vines. They lean silently into the earth, forgotten boundaries swallowed by time and growth. Just like the villages they once marked, the forest hums quietly around you, a soft symphony of rustling leaves, distant bird calls, and the gentle whisper of the wind weaving through branches. Every sound is a thread in the lullaby that carries your thoughts deeper into calm and rest. You pause beside a clearing, where wildflowers bloom in soft clusters, their petals catching the last light of day. The hush settles heavy here, wrapping you in a blanket of silence that invites every worry to drift away like autumn leaves on a slow-moving stream. And you here tonight feel your breath grow steady, folding gently into the hush that holds the forest where villages disappeared. This is your sanctuary tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the forest cradle you softly, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the forest where villages disappeared remind you. Sometimes, the quietest places hold the most beautiful endings. Continue walking slowly through the soft earth, feeling the hush deepen with every step you take. The forest presses gently around you, leaves brushing softly against your skin like quiet whispers in the night. You pass broken stone walls, their rough edges softened by moss and creeping ivy. silent reminders of homes that once stood here, their stories folded into the soil beneath your feet. The scent of pine and earth lingers heavy in the air, a balm that soothes restless thoughts and invites calm. Birdsong drifts faintly through the canopy, a gentle melody weaving through the hush like threads of light stitching shadows together. Each note is a soft caress, folding your breath into the rhythm of the forest's slow, patient heartbeat. Ahead, the path curves gently around an ancient oak, its massive roots twisting like silent sentinels guarding forgotten memories. You pause for a moment, resting your hand on the rough bark, feeling the steady pulse of life that has outlasted centuries of silence and change. The forest holds you in its quiet embrace, a timeless sanctuary where the past drifts gently into the present, and all worries fall away like leaves in a slow autumn breeze. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts settle, folding softly into the hush that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your rest tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the forest hold you close, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes the softest silence holds the deepest peace. Step slowly forward, feeling the peace spread gently around you. The forest embraces you like a warm hug, the rustling leaves whispering a soothing lullaby in the quiet of the night. You see old stone walls covered with moss, silent witnesses to stories buried deep beneath the earth and time. The scent of damp soil and pine resin blends softly, calming your weary mind and guiding you gently toward sleep. The sound of forest birds echoes lightly through the canopy, creating a gentle symphony that blends seamlessly with the stillness, making each breath you take fall in rhythm with the forest's slow heartbeat. Ahead, the path curves around an ancient oak tree, its roots twisting like silent sentinels guarding forgotten memories. You pause, your hand brushing the rough bark, feeling the steady pulse of life that has endured centuries of change and quiet. The forest holds you close in its silent embrace, a timeless refuge where past and present gently merge, allowing all worries to drift away like leaves floating on a slow autumn breeze. And tonight, you feel your soul soften, blending peacefully into the calm of the forest where villages disappeared. This is where you belong tonight, a quiet, patient, and gentle story for sleep. So breathe slowly. Let the deep forest hold you warmly. Let the stillness guide your dreams deeper. And let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, in silence, you will always find a place to come home to. The forest around you breathes softly, each leaf a gentle sigh in the stillness of the night. You feel the hush wrap warmly around your shoulders, a soothing blanket woven from the quiet whispers of ancient trees. Sunlight has faded into moonlight, casting silvery shadows that dance lightly upon the moss-covered ground. The air is cool and sweet with the scent of pine and damp earth, filling your lungs with calm and peace. You come across a small clearing where wildflowers bloom quietly beneath the stars, their petals catching the faint light like delicate lanterns in the dark. The hush here feels thick and patient, pressing gently against your skin as you pause to breathe in the calm. The distant call of an owl echoes softly, a lullaby sung just for you, weaving through the trees and settling deep into your heart. Every sound blends into the silence, becoming part of the forest's gentle song that carries you deeper into rest. You lean back against a sturdy oak, feeling the rough bark steady you, grounding you in this moment of perfect stillness. Your breath slows, matching the rhythm of the woods as your thoughts drift quietly away. And you, here tonight, feel your mind grow calm, folding softly into the hush that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your refuge tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the forest hold you gently. Let the hush carry your dreams deeper. And let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes the quietest places hold the deepest peace. The forest around you breathes softly, each leaf a gentle sigh in the stillness of the night. You feel the hush wrap warmly around your shoulders, a soothing blanket woven from the quiet whispers of ancient trees. Sunlight has faded into moonlight, casting silvery shadows that dance lightly upon the moss-covered ground. The air is cool and sweet with the scent of pine and damp earth, filling your lungs with calm and peace. You come across a small clearing where wildflowers bloom quietly beneath the stars, their petals catching the faint light like delicate lanterns in the dark. The hush here feels thick and patient, pressing gently against your skin as you pause to breathe in the calm. The distant call of an owl echoes softly, a lullaby sung just for you, weaving through the trees and settling deep into your heart. Every sound blends into the silence, becoming part of the forest's gentle song that carries you deeper into rest. You lean back against a sturdy oak, feeling the rough bark steady you, grounding you in this moment of perfect stillness. Your breath slows, matching the rhythm of the woods as your thoughts drift quietly away. And you, here tonight, feel your mind grow calm, folding softly into the hush that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your refuge tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the forest hold you gently. Let the hush carry your dreams deeper. And let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes the quietest places hold the deepest peace. The night deepens, and the forest seems to sigh with the weight of countless forgotten stories. Every leaf, every branch, holds a secret whispered long ago, now folded softly into the hush that surrounds you. You walk slowly along a path, barely visible beneath the blanket of fallen leaves, each step a gentle brush against the earth. The cool air carries the faint scent of rain and pine, mingling with the quiet pulse of the woods breathing all around. Moss-covered stones mark the places where homes once stood, their outlines blurred by time and nature's patient hands. You imagine the lives that blossomed here, the laughter, the work, the silent moments shared beneath the watchful trees. The sky above twinkles faintly with stars, their gentle light spilling through the branches like a soft blessing. The forest's hush grows deeper, pressing gently against your skin, soothing every restless thought as you move further into the night. You pause for a moment beside a fallen log, its surface rough and cool beneath your fingers, a silent witness to the passage of time. The hush wraps around you like a gentle embrace, cradling your breath and thoughts, leading you softly toward rest. And you, here tonight, feel your heart slow, folding gently into the quiet that lives in the forest where villages disappeared. This is your peace tonight, a patient, endless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the forest hold you softly, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes the softest whispers carry the strongest peace. Rest now by the gentle earth, feeling the hush of the forest wrap around you like a soft, warm blanket. Every breath you take folds deeper into the quiet, pressing gently against the moss and roots that cradle the land where villages once stood. The night sky stretches wide above, a canopy of stars twinkling softly through the leaves, their light a gentle touch on the darkened earth. The forest hums quietly, a lullaby woven from the whispers of leaves and the distant calls of night creatures settling into rest. You lean back against a sturdy tree, its bark rough yet comforting beneath your skin, grounding you in this moment of stillness. Your heartbeat slows, matching the gentle rhythm of the woods as you drift further from the noise of the waking world. Somewhere deep within the forest, the stories of those vanished villages linger, folded into the soil, carried on the breeze, kept safe by the patient hush that never fades. They speak not in words, but in the quiet peace that settles softly over all who come here seeking rest. And you, here tonight, feel your breath deepen and slow, your mind folding gently into the hush that holds the forest where villages disappeared. This is your sanctuary tonight, a timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the forest hold you close, let the hush carry your dreams softly, and let the forest where villages disappeared remind you, sometimes the deepest peace is found in the quiet places where stories live on in silence. Sleep well, sleep deep, and when you wake, may the hush follow you, steady as the trees, gentle as the night, soft as the quiet that holds you now. Hello, dear friend. If you found your way here tonight, perhaps your mind is restless, or sleep feels just beyond reach. That's perfectly okay. Take a slow, deep breath. Let your body settle softly, your eyes close gently. Tonight, I will take you to a quiet place beneath an ancient hill, where a frozen army lies still, hidden beneath layers of earth and time. The frozen army beneath the hill is a story of silence and stillness, of memories preserved in the cold embrace of the past. So let yourself drift, wrapped in calm and quiet, as we slowly uncover the secrets sleeping beneath the soil. Imagine a hill rising quietly against the evening sky, its gentle slopes covered in soft grasses and wildflowers swaying in a cool breeze. Beneath this peaceful surface lies a secret, an army frozen in time, silent and still beneath the earth's warm embrace. Long ago, these soldiers stood ready to defend their land, their armor gleaming faintly in the fading light of a setting sun. But now they lie motionless, their weapons rusted and their faces hidden beneath layers of soil and stone. You walk slowly along the hillside, feeling the cool grass brush softly against your hands. The air is crisp and still, filled with the quiet hum of nature settling down for the night. Above you, the sky deepens into shades of violet and blue, stars beginning to twinkle faintly, watching over the hidden army beneath the hill. The silence here is vast and patient, pressing softly against your skin like a gentle sigh. You close your eyes for a moment, imagining the stories held deep beneath your feet. Tales of bravery, of battles fought long ago, now folded quietly into the earth. And you here tonight, feel your breath slow and settle, folding softly into the hush that holds the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your calm tonight, a patient, timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the hill hold you gently, let the silence carry your dreams deeper, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes, even the stillest moments hold the greatest strength. Stay walking gently along the hillside, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet. The grass sways quietly in the cool breeze, carrying with it whispers of times long past. Beneath you, the frozen army rests, soldiers lined in silent rows, their armor dulled by centuries, but still holding a quiet dignity. They do not move, yet their presence hums softly beneath the soil, a steady pulse of history waiting patiently to be remembered. You kneel down, letting your fingers brush the cool blades of grass, as you imagine the stories these soldiers might tell, stories of courage, of loyalty, and of quiet sacrifice, whispered through the ages. The sky above deepens into a velvet night, stars shimmering faintly like distant lanterns guiding your way through the darkness. The silence here is deep and comforting, pressing gently against your skin like a soft lullaby. You breathe slowly, letting the hush fold around you like a gentle cloak, carrying you deeper into the calm held beneath the hill. And you here tonight, feel your thoughts slow, folding gently into the patient stillness of the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your rest tonight, a timeless, peaceful, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the hill cradle you softly, let the silence carry your dreams deeper, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes strength is found not in motion, but in stillness. Take a slow, steady step forward, feeling the gentle sway of the grass beneath your feet. The quiet around you deepens, wrapping you in a calm that seems as old as the earth itself. Beneath the hill's surface, the soldiers lie in orderly ranks, helmets gleaming faintly through the soil, swords resting silently by their sides. Though frozen in time, their presence feels alive in the hush that fills the space between earth and sky. You close your eyes briefly, imagining the sounds of long-ago marches, the soft clink of armor, the steady rhythm of footsteps, the whispered prayers carried on the wind. Now only silence remains, folded gently into the cool night air. The stars above twinkle softly, their light filtering through the trees like a gentle caress. Each breath you take mingles with the stillness, every exhale carrying you deeper into the peaceful embrace of this ancient place. You feel your heartbeat slow to match the steady pulse of history beneath the hill, every beat folding into the hush that holds these silent warriors. And you here tonight drift softly into the calm, a patient, timeless, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the stillness soothe you, let the silence carry your dreams gently, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you sometimes the deepest strength lies in quiet patience. Walk slowly now, feeling the soft earth press gently beneath your feet. The hill's gentle slope invites you onward, the hush growing deeper as you move closer to the heart of the secret beneath. Beneath the ground, the frozen army rests in silent formation. Faces peaceful, eyes closed beneath worn helmets, hands resting gently on rusted swords. Time has folded over them like a soft blanket, preserving the stillness of their vigil through countless seasons. You imagine the day they took their final stand, the sun setting slowly beyond the horizon, casting long shadows over the battlefield now hidden beneath your feet. Their courage now lives on in the silence, a quiet strength that whispers through the roots and stones. The night sky above stretches wide and deep, stars shimmering faintly like distant guardians watching over the sleeping legion. A cool breeze stirs the grasses, carrying with it the scent of earth and pine, mingling with the hush that presses softly against your skin. You breathe slowly, feeling your breath fall in rhythm with the quiet heartbeat beneath the hill, steady, patient, unchanging. And you, here tonight, feel your thoughts grow calm, folding gently into the patient stillness of the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your refuge tonight, a timeless, peaceful, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow. Let the silence hold you gently. Let the hush carry your dreams deeper. And let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes the greatest courage is found in stillness. Pause for a moment, feeling the gentle slope of the hill beneath you and the soft rustle of grass in the cool night air. The silence here is thick and comforting, wrapping around you like a gentle cloak woven from centuries of quiet. Beneath your feet, the frozen army lies in peaceful slumber, their armor dulled by time, yet still holding the memory of bravery etched into every plate and sword. Though they do not move, their presence hums softly beneath the earth, a steady heartbeat of history resting patiently beneath the soil. You imagine the faces beneath the helmets, expressions calm, eyes closed, holding dreams of home and peace far from the battlefields where they once stood. The stories they carry are folded into the hush, whispered only to the earth and the stars above. The night sky spreads wide overhead, a tapestry of twinkling lights that seem to pulse gently with the rhythm of the world's slow breath. The air smells faintly of pine and earth, a soothing scent that lulls your mind and quiets the restless thoughts within. You breathe deeply, letting the hush carry you further into calm, each exhale drawing you deeper into the stillness that holds this ancient hill. And you, here tonight, feel your breath slow and your heart soften, folding gently into the endless, patient, boring history for sleep found in the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your peace tonight, a gentle sanctuary where time stands still. So breathe slow, let the quiet embrace you fully, let the silence carry your dreams softly, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes true strength is found in quiet rest. Keep walking slowly along the gentle slope, feeling the earth firm yet welcoming beneath your feet. The hush of the night surrounds you, pressing softly against your skin like a comforting blanket woven from the whispers of ages past. Beneath the hill lies the silent army, soldiers frozen in time, their stillness a testament to patience and enduring strength. Though their faces are hidden beneath weathered helmets, you can feel their quiet presence humming steadily beneath the soil. You pause beside a cluster of wildflowers, their petals soft and fragile in the moonlight. The gentle scent of pine mingles with the cool night air, creating a peaceful melody that eases your mind and slows your breath. Above you, stars glitter softly in the deep sky, their light a soothing touch that reaches through the canopy of trees surrounding the hill. The world feels vast yet gentle, as if holding you tenderly in the embrace of its quiet night. You take a deep, slow breath, letting the hush fold around your thoughts, pressing them softly into the calm that fills this place. The stillness here carries the weight of countless stories of courage, loyalty, and rest. And you, here tonight, feel your heart and mind grow quiet, sinking gently into the patient calm of the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your refuge tonight, a peaceful space where history sleeps softly. So breathe slow, let the silence wrap around you, let the hush carry your dreams gently, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes the deepest strength comes from stillness. Walk slowly along the hill's gentle curve, feeling the soft earth cushion each step like a gentle promise of peace. The night air wraps around you quietly, carrying the scent of pine and fresh earth, a balm for the restless mind. Beneath the surface, the frozen army lies in perfect stillness, rows of silent soldiers resting beneath layers of time and soil. Their presence hums faintly, a quiet pulse of history, waiting patiently beneath your feet. You imagine the whispered prayers once spoken here, the silent hopes folded into the earth like fragile petals. Though their voices are gone, their courage lingers in the hush, echoing softly in the night's calm. Above, stars twinkle softly through the trees, their light shimmering like gentle lanterns guiding you deeper into rest. The forest breathes slowly, each leaf and branch moving in harmony with your steady breath. You pause beneath an ancient oak, its mighty roots sprawling like the hands of time, holding this sacred place. Your fingers brush the rough bark, feeling the steady heartbeat of the earth beneath, a rhythm that slows your thoughts and quiets your mind. And you, here tonight, feel your breath deepen, folding softly into the endless calm of the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your sanctuary tonight, a place of patient strength and gentle stillness. So breathe slow, let the earth hold you close, let the silence carry your dreams gently, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes the greatest bravery is found in peaceful rest. Stay nestled against the gentle slope of the hill, feeling the soft earth cradle you like a quiet lullaby. The night whispers softly through the trees, weaving a gentle tapestry of silence and calm around you. Beneath the soil, the frozen army rests peacefully, rows of soldiers frozen in time, their armor weathered yet still carrying the strength of centuries. Though still, their presence hums quietly beneath the earth, a steady heartbeat of history and patience. You lean back gently, eyes closed, letting the hush settle deep within your chest. It feels like a slow river flowing beneath your ribs, carrying away the weight of the day and soothing every restless thought. Above, stars twinkle softly through the canopy, their light casting gentle silver patterns across the moss-covered ground. The forest breathes with you, every leaf and branch moving in quiet harmony with your steady, slow breath. You take a deep, slow breath, letting the silence wrap around your thoughts, pressing them softly into the calm that holds this place. The stillness carries the stories of bravery, loyalty, and peace, folded gently into the earth beneath your feet. And you here tonight feel your heart slow, sinking gently into the patient hush of the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your refuge tonight, a peaceful sanctuary where time stands still. So breathe slow, let the quiet hold you softly, let the hush carry your dreams deeper, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes the deepest strength lies in quiet patience. Stay calm and steady near the hill's gentle rise, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet cradle your steps. The night air is cool and still, filled with the subtle scent of pine and damp moss, wrapping you in a quiet embrace. Beneath the surface, the frozen army lies in peaceful rows, their faces serene beneath weathered helmets, their swords resting silently by their sides. Though time has passed, their presence hums softly beneath the soil, a heartbeat of history held in patient stillness. You imagine the final moments of their vigil, the sun setting slowly beyond distant horizons, casting long shadows over fields now quiet and still. Their courage and strength live on in the silence, a gentle reminder that even in rest, power endures. Stars twinkle faintly overhead, their light like soft lanterns guiding you deeper into the calm of the night. Your breath slows and deepens, matching the steady pulse of this ancient place beneath the hill. And you here tonight feel your thoughts drift gently into the hush, a timeless, patient, boring history for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence hold you close, let the hush carry your dreams gently, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes the greatest strength is found in peaceful rest. Rest now upon the gentle earth, feeling the hush of the hill wrap softly around you like a warm, protective cloak. Each breath you take folds deeper into the silence, pressing gently against the moss and stones that cradle the frozen army beneath. The night sky stretches vast and quiet above, a canvas of twinkling stars casting gentle silver light across the peaceful landscape. The forest and hill breathe softly together, a lullaby of stillness and calm that carries you gently toward sleep. You lean back against a sturdy tree, its bark rough yet grounding beneath your fingertips, anchoring you in this moment of tranquil stillness. Your heartbeat slows to match the steady rhythm of the earth beneath your feet, every pulse folding into the patient hush surrounding you. Somewhere deep beneath the hill, the soldiers lie in timeless rest, their courage preserved not in battle cries, but in peaceful silence. Their stories are whispered through the earth and air, carried on the soft breath of night that now holds you close. And you here tonight feel your mind grow quiet, sinking gently into the calm embrace of the frozen army beneath the hill. This is your sanctuary tonight, a timeless, patient, and peaceful space for sleep. So breathe slow, let the silence cradle you gently, let the hush guide your dreams softly, and let the frozen army beneath the hill remind you, sometimes true strength is found in quiet rest. Sleep well, sleep deep, and when you wake, may the hush follow you, steady as stone, gentle as the night, soft as the silence that holds you now. Sleep is not just a time for the body to rest. It is a journey of healing for the soul and a renewal of energy for a new day. In today's busy and stressful life, deep and sufficient sleep becomes a precious remedy that helps us balance emotions, clear our minds, and stay healthy both physically and mentally. The core advice I want to share with you is to create a quiet, comfortable space and establish a consistent bedtime routine every day. Limit blue light exposure from electronic devices, try to let go of anxious thoughts before sleep, and allow your body to naturally ease into a relaxed state. Sometimes, these small steps are enough to bring you quality and peaceful rest. Thank you for choosing my channel's video among thousands out there. I hope today's relaxing moments and gentle story help you drift easily into deep, beautiful sleep. See you again in the next videos. Wishing you a peaceful and fulfilling night.